Welcome to Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha, our producer's here. Hello, Sam.
Hello.
Real quick, is there anything we need to address before we get to a classic? We got a classic lined up. Yes, On Deck is a weird job, but there's always stuff in our world that we need to tell people about. So,
hurricane party's coming up May 28th in Sanford. Obviously,
that is coming up quick.
Yeah.
A ton of bands, and we're doing a live podcast.
Super Villains, Aggro Lights, Less Than Jake. Who am I missing?
Everybody.
Yeah, just go to
John Ghazi.
Go to drinkatwestend.com and you can see
Authority Zero.
Authority Zero. Thank you. I knew.
So many. Sierra Lane.
Yep. Go there and check them all out.
And so we're doing a live podcast at noon, right inside West End, and you can get tickets right at tomanddan.com.
What are we going to talk about?
If I don't know yet.
Yeah.
We're going to invite Jolly.
Write
Remind me to
some
text
things down.
Jolly about it, seeing if he can come.
Dude, you didn't tell me that. We agreed on that? I love that.
Big Tim will be there. Tony Rage is coming.
Oh,
so we're gonna
Tony
have,
Ray. Oh, a panel of greatness.
Yeah. He actually just wanted to go to to see the show. He's like, hey, I think you can get me a
Oh, my
hurricane.
God.
Only
he's
if you do.
grifting tickets.
Only if he does Brown Trump.
You have to get on, do prom Trump.
I got a wig for him. I got a blue suit, big blue suit for him. And wait till I come out as little Sleepy Joe and I fall over and I'm sniffing everybody. Oh, it's going to be epic.
Can we get a gigantic blue suit for Tony to wear?
And I will dress
And
as
a
little
yellow
Sleepy
wig.
Joe. And I'll keep pointing at things and saying, I did that. I'll sniff everybody good.
All right, let's
Is it time to do the thing? All right, here we go. Tom wanted to do a bit. He called it Weird Job Wednesday. Dad really likes it. Tom says that's bullshit. It's another Weird Job Wednesday. What are you doing? What is your job? Are you neat? Are you tidy? Or are you a fat slob? Do you make lots of money and you sit up in your tower looking down on all the people who are working by the hour? It's a Weird Job Wednesday. Just another Weird Job Wednesday. Oh yes, it's Weird Job Wednesday. Just another Weird Job Wednesday. Thank you, Tom. Thank you.
Weird Job Wednesday brought to you by StreamlineFlorida.com. Streamline Mortgage Solutions. If you need a mortgage, you need a cash out refly. Oh, refly. God damn it!
Cash out refly.
Also, now in California. If you live in California, you could use Streamline.
Now in California.
They just opened up their California branch. I know we've got a little under 100 BDMs in California, actually. I looked it up the other day.
That's a lot. More than I thought.
So if you're a BDM in California, call Streamline.
Yeah, hit him up.
It's streamlinecalifornia.com.
Wow, man, he must have a lot of money.
Yeah.
Wow.
Brandon's on the line. How you doing, Brandon?
Not Brandon.
God damn it.
Let's go, Brandon. Come on. Oh.
Brennan, how you doing?
I'm good, Mr. Van. I expected nothing less from you.
No, he already messed it up naturally.
I'm just making the Twitch listeners laugh because they heard the whole thing before.
Hey, thanks for being on Weird Job, man. What is your...
Thank you for having me.
Oh, always, man. What is your weird job?
Well, my weird job, I guess the weird thing about my job is I no longer have a job. After 24 years of active service in the Army, I am retiring.
All right.
Wow.
Hey. Well, thank you for your service.
Yeah.
First of all, 24, close to 25. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean...
How old are you?
I'm Dan's age. So 45.
45-ish. I mean, you're a young
That
man.
is nice.
Oh, dude.
Daniel's staring at another 20 years.
I know. Another 20 years of fart jokes and flat brim hats. I'll blow my brains out. It ain't happening.
Could you imagine retiring now? That'd be awesome.
Can I imagine it? Every night I imagine it. What are you talking about? Every night when I go to bed, I close my eyes thinking I'm going to retire the next morning.
So you got in the military in soon after high school. What age did you start?
No, I started at age 18. I had there was like a 3-year gap where I got out, but I started at 18 right after they kicked me out of high school. joined the Army and, never looked back.
So, in the almost 25 years that you've been in there, what kind
incredible.
of jobs have you had?
Well, I've my primary job through the 24 years as my military occupational specialty was a Cavalry Scout. So just to break that down is our responsibility is to go out, find the bad guys, and tell all the good guys where they're at so they can kill them.
Now, years ago, a Cavalry Scout, it sounded, he made it very simple for us. Years ago, Cavalry Scouts, would you have been on horseback and would you have been like kind of sneaking out there ahead of everybody and then you'd ride back and report? Like now, do you use, is it you in a vehicle? Is it you with a team of people? Is it you with cameras or drones, or how does that work?
Yes.
Yeah, it's all of that then. So to kind of walk us through like what your day-to-day would be, let's say you got to find a bad guy. What would like step one be as far as like you guys in the field as cavalry?
So if you can imagine, the job itself is based on different platforms. So there are different types of brigades in the Army. There's a armored brigade, a striker brigade, and an infantry brigade. Yeah. I was mainly assigned to infantry brigade combat teams. So I was in Humvees, or I was on my feet walking around, or jumping out of the aircraft to get behind enemy lines to locate them. So typically, when we do our training exercises, we train for real world operations. We would go out about 3 days prior to the main effort, the infantry guys going in and conducting their attack, and we would locate the enemy or whatever other type of intelligence assets on the battlefield, obstacles, good spots for the infantry to come in, best ways to attack. We'd analyze the terrain. Just a bunch of different things that we do to help shape the battlefield for the main attack.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people put a lot of they don't think about the amount of intelligence you would have to accrue to report back to even get one of these things, like get a mission going. You got to have all the coordinates. You got to have all the positioning and whatnot.
So let me ask you this. I assume the United States has the technology to look through a satellite at any point on Earth real time and videotape that, or I heard something that satellites have the ability to read heads or tails on a quarter from space if laying on the street, right?
I think that's what old men say at VFW, though, right? Is that real?
Fisher say that once.
Yeah, that is a good assumption. Let's just say that one time I was conducting an airborne operation in North Carolina, and they were actually able to capture faces as we jumped out of the plane.
Wow.
So what? But my where I'm going is, why can't we just use satellites to hey, what's over there? Look through the satellite. I can see any place on Earth. We don't need a human
Boots on the ground.
We don't need a human to actually go there and look through his own eyes like we can see through a satellite.
Well, I mean, they do that, but it's expensive. We're cheap, and we can provide continuous observation of an area and use our human brains, our intelligence that you like to talk about, to figure things out, to determine what people are actually doing, not just what we see, but their actions, their intent. Because we only look at them, but we also try and listen to what they're saying, or we look for other signs that possibly can't be picked up on a satellite, especially from the horizontal angle as just opposed to the vertical angle.
Gotcha.
So tell me about some real world things that you were in Iraq, correct?
Yeah, I was in Iraq a couple times. I was there for the invasion, and then I went back a few years later.
So during the invasion, what did you do during that time?
We were the security and screening effort for one of the battalions, 3rd Brigade, 3rd Infantry Division. So one of the first objectives of the actual war was to attack and secure Tooele Air Base. if you remember where Jessica Lynch, that city that she got caught in, captured.
Yeah.
That the air base was right outside of there. So, we secured it, before she got captured, and, they made a wrong turn. And we just continued to provide security for the main effort, serving as a, sitting on their flank and watching for any enemy tanks or any enemy vehicles or personnel to try and, hit them on the side. We'd also secure routes for the main effort that as we're going into Karbala or into Baghdad itself.
Wow. Now, the only thing I know about the Iraq War, and you're talking about are you talking about Desert Storm?
No, that's before my time.
Oh,
this is a
How
young
dare
guy.
you, sir.
This is a young guy. Oh my
He's only a
God.
few years older than
What are you
you.
talking about, Saddam Hussein?
You know what? I forget. 25
God, yeah.
years
Well,
ago.
we've been-
It's like in the mid '90s. And
Question one from Tom: do you know Muammar Gaddafi?
Not the liberation of Kuwait, but the invasion of Iraq.
Gotcha.
03.
So was that the one that Jarheads was made after, or was that? Because all I know.
You mean the movie Jarhead?
Yeah. Was that about that was about Desert Storm, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I think that was fiction too. I don't think that was real, man.
Well, I know it's not real.
This is like Tom talking to military
Old
Tom.
man button.
Yeah, it's like Tom talking to military Tom.
You get
I like
your
that.
wars messed up.
Yeah.
No.
It followed the experience of a U.S. Marine in the first Gulf War.
Because I was about to say, it was so
Is
boring.
this Saving Private Ryan?
No. In that movie, it was so boring that they got so bored they just started shooting their machine guns in the air.
Well, we had a guy call in when we were the first year doing this. Go ahead.
No, I mean the shooting machine guns and doing stuff like that. That was pretty common,
Like you wouldn't get yelled at for just like putting your machine gun on your shoulder and you're just like, oh man, that felt so good. I just needed to do that.
Because a lot of the stories, all I'm saying is the stories were like people were there wasn't that much intense.
We had a guy call in the first year we did this show that said he used an RPG to blow up a donkey. Do you remember that?
It was a camel, wasn't it?
Yeah, something. He blew up some animal because he's bored. And I'm like, bad look.
Yeah.
That guy was just an asshole. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, you're
Yeah,
fine.
right,
You're
you
good.
can say
You're
that.
fine. You're fine.
No, so yeah,
Just a donkey.
I mean, one time I did take a incendiary grenade, and I wanted to test the effectiveness of it, so I put it on a
donkey.
So I put it on a donkey.
Oh man.
And it worked.
Put it on a donkey.
Yeah.
No, I put it on a palm tree stump to see how fast it would burn through it. And yeah, we would test our weapons out a bunch, when we were in.
See?
In
That guy could have
active
used the palm
combat.
tree
Yeah,
stump.
okay, well, my question wasn't that stupid. I just asked if you were going to shoot your machine guns in the air, randomly. So tell us about some other stuff you did when you were out there.
Wait, I want to know about the jump out of a military aircraft while in flight.
Yes, yeah. So I am also I served in the 82nd Airborne.
Wow.
Out of Fort Bragg, North Carolina.
Yeah.
So I was there for a few years, and one of the requirements is you have to be airborne qualified. So you have to be able to jump out of an aircraft with a parachute and about 100 pounds of gear and land safely and then conduct missions. So
Every skydiver I know, including a salesperson that was in the Army, and she was airborne. You just talked to her a couple weeks ago.
Aw.
She blew out her knees. You got any knee damage from that?
I got concussion. I think I don't remember that one. I got a whiplash. I got knee damage
From
I got
jumping out
bad
of
hip.
airplanes? Like you got a concussion from jumping out of an airplane?
From the
Yeah,
landing.
we jumped into Nevada one time near Area 51. Actually, surprisingly enough, there's an Air Force base up there, and I hit the ground pretty hard.
Woo. Because
I
it's
think
like,
I got a concussion.
and when you guys are jumping, like, what are like the parachutes that you use? Because like when I see my friends that do it, they're always like super colorful, and it looks like a pride parade in the sky, and they're swirling around, and it's so nice. And they've got like I picture you guys in just like all black or green, and it's just all
big-
metal gear, and you have
a big round mambo.
yeah, you got a big mambo chute that when it comes out, it's loud, and there's like, is it sort of like that?
Yeah, we definitely don't use the colorful ones because that would be a bigger target in the sky.
Sure.
They're already trying to shoot at us. So yeah, they're like I'm colorblind, so they're like green to me. But when I jumped it was called a T10, so it's a circular type of parachute. It's not very steerable like Tom's friends. They jump the air rams where they can land on tippy toes and be fine. Ours just goes straight to the ground at about 18 to 20 foot per second.
Oh,
So
you're
we
still
just-
going fast.
Oh yeah. It's like you can compare it to jumping off the top of maybe a one-story building.
Yeah, no,
Without-
that would destroy my ankles. That would be
Yeah.
bad.
You know how some fish in the ocean, they're camouflaged where their underbellies are lighter, so that when a predator's looking up, they blend
Yeah,
into
I'm like that.
the sky.
My
and,
underbelly is very white.
and their top is darker, so
Yeah.
when predators are looking down, they blend into the dark of the. Why don't they make the underneath of the parachutes blue, so when you're looking
Right.
up, like you,
It's not going
like
to work
it
at night. They're
disappears.
jumping at night. You're jumping in with a big blue parachute.
Oh well, they
Yeah.
sometimes they do it during the day, right?
Yeah, well, we're doing combat operations. It's going to be at night. Any daytime jump we call Hollywood. So they're
No.
that's a silly question.
Yeah, see, even I know
How
that,
dare
Tom.
you,
Like, I
Tom.
mean, I don't
Idiot.
know. Because they're just going to take that big machine gun. They're going to, like, where are they? Because I've played these games. I'm like, can you just blow them out of the sky?
We ain't fish.
Well, I'm just saying, when you look up, well, why not make them black then? They're green, right?
That'd be hot.
It's at night.
I think you just screwed me. At this point, I think
All
you're just
right,
here
all
to
right.
twist you up.
Yeah, you know what? You got a point.
All right. Well, thank you.
You're on the board.
point.
You're on the board.
I'll contact the Army and tell them to change their pattern and at the cost of a few $1 billion. No problem.
So what else did you do once you like so you've been there? Sam said you spent some time in North Korea. You said was super boring. I've known
Well, he
other
just said Korea. He didn't specify.
or not
Yeah,
North,
not North Korea.
not North Korea. I mean
Yeah.
South Korea. I mean you wouldn't be in
No,
North, but
yeah.
like or you'll be in the demilitarized zone. I would imagine. Like what was that like?
No, Korea. I was in Korea in the the late 90s, 98 to 99. Just the Republic of South Korea. It was nice, but it was just a normal assignment. You go out there, you train for a year, and you count your days till you get back stateside. I've done other things. Let's see. I've been to Haiti. Haiti when they had the earthquake. We reacted to that. Humanitarian mission with the 82nd. That was different. Was also went to Egypt. Went to Kosovo when they separated from Yugoslavia in
All right,
2002, right after 9/11. And most recently, my last one before I got out was in Ukraine in 2016. 2016. So
Oh,
we
is
go
that
out there
after?
and,
Was that after when everybody was like, when 14 would have been when Crimea was annexed, right? And then you guys would have been there to like kind of prop things up for a bit?
Correct. Yeah, we came in. Well, NATO armies came in, Poland and us and England, and we came in and set up a joint training area for the Ukrainian army, just to when they be fighting in the Donbass region, they would come back to the Ukraine. We would put them through about 3 weeks of training. They would relax for about a week, and then they would go back and fight the quote-unquote terrorists.
So you've been actually training, or you've been a type of person to be there and train these type of people. Is it difficult to train, and what's like the language barrier and all of that? When you're training these people on how to use things, is it difficult? Do you have to go like very rudimentary? Do you have to start from like a step one? Do they have like pieces of paper that are laminated like Subway on how to start like how does it work?
No, that's a great question. Much better than the fish camouflage question.
Thank you.
No, this guy's got it out for
Yeah,
me.
he does. He does.
Call him Brandon.
You know why? Because we're similar people, and similar
Yeah,
people.
two alphas can't be around.
Yeah.
Similar people.
Yeah. Well, like Daniel's right. Two alphas.
You haven't
put-
seen any combat
This
in your
guy-
life.
Yeah, but I
This guy's
could have
more
gone a different
comfortable-
route.
he's more comfortable with me.
Anybody could have gone a different route.
I'm just saying, I am tough enough to go that route
This
if I.
guy's
if I
more
had
comfortable
chosen.
with me because I weigh the same as most women.
240 Bravo. No.
They're storming the
You don't-
studio.
No, he did. I give him a
yeah.
240 back.
Yeah,
Tom
yeah,
doesn't know
yeah,
about this. That's a
yeah.
military fist bump.
That's definitely a sexist joke.
Yeah.
I know what it means.
No, that's a machine gun. No, but training the Ukrainians, it's obviously the language barrier. We have translators there, and they're not just people that speak English, but they understand military terminology. So that was a key to getting past some of that language barrier. And also rudimentary stuff like you mimic things like if you're doing a individual movement technique, you would actually physically show them how we would do it or how we would get up, get down, and stuff like that. So it's easy to break across language barriers like that when you have a shared understanding of like military tactics.
Also, like, what's interesting is, like, I was talking to my wife about this, and we were talking about the language barrier, and I'm like, it's amazing what I think you'd learn how to do if you felt like your life and your family depended upon it, right? Like,
Right.
I feel like I would gather a lot of weaponry information from you if I had to defend Maisie and Andrea, and if I felt like my country depended upon it. And I feel like there's not much that Brandon could not, like, I get it all. I would get it. Like, it'd be very dead serious, and I would be good at it.
Brandon,
Yeah.
did you, since you've been to all like these places and been in situations where I'm sure you're like, well, every day I could die, you're right? When I leave the base or whatever, like I have a chance of dying. Like,
Especially when he's in these Humvees.
Yep.
When he's talking about doing cavalry in a Humvee, all I'm thinking about is these devices on the road or people trying to stop you and blow you up.
It's like your mindset is different for weeks and months on end,
Sure,
right? And
yeah.
I've heard from people like just having that mindset for so long, then you go back to normal life and it's a problem, right? Like either you could PTSD or just literally living for a
You might be
year
bored.
in a situation where you could die every day. It screws you up a little bit. Did you have that problem?
No.
I am.
That's such a Tom answer. It's not even funny.
Yeah.
Now that I will agree with. That is something you would say.
No, yeah, I certainly understand why individuals would have that because, it is very true. You wake up every day like, okay, today, especially during the invasion, today I could possibly die. I made it through the night, I could possibly die today. So that could wear on you. People compartmentalize and deal with it in different ways. My dad was a Vietnam vet, so one of the first things that happened when I came back was he gave me a book. He told me to look through it. It's just like one of those time books that they made of the invasion. And he's like, "How you doing, son?" I was like, "I'm fine." So it really didn't. It didn't bug me in any way really. No nightmares.
Well, that's good to hear.
No dreams like that.
Well, what about that? Like,
I get nightmares if I eat the wrong thing.
Well, what about
Real.
that regular life is boring, like Brandon?
Yeah,
Like,
aren't you supposed to get a motorcycle and terrorize cities because you can't reinstate yourselves
Like-
into normal American life?
Like now you're going to Publix, you're mowing the lawn.
Yeah.
Boring.
Well, you got, you got a 30 cal bread maker.
Yeah.
Like it's.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's boring, but I'm fine with boring. If I need excitement, I'll drive on 95 a little bit during rush hour. But,
Yeah, but that's not
no,
even
but this
close
is-
to jumping out of an airplane
hold on a second.
into enemy territory.
Isn't this the guy we want in the Army, though?
Yeah,
For
exactly.
25 years is the guy that's like,
The
hey,
even kill.
I could either drive on 95 really fast, or I could, like, keep, my cool and stay steady for my mates here in the foxholes of a dangerous situation.
Like even when I retired from doing stunts, in the radio,
Oh,
like I
5 years after that, he still had the itch. Every once in a while, can I say this story?
I mean, I kind of missed it a little bit.
Brandon, here's a story that I have for you. This is facts, and don't even say that this is not true. There were times, I think, when we had the studio even, so that's been about 6 years, where you would say, sometimes I want to put myself in a situation, I want to do something because it makes me feel. I can feel when I'm jumping the thing, I feel things. I'm in the air, I'm feeling things.
Yeah.
And you like these.
I missed the rush of, kind of risking my life.
You got a need for speed.
If I landed on Gravedigger, I could give me a pretty good stinger.
Yeah.
And
you used to get an adrenaline boner, and those are gone.
Yeah.
And you miss those.
Yeah.
Do you miss your adrenaline boners?
I mean, it was 24 years is a long time, big part of my life. So yeah, there's
that's a lot of boners.
You're gonna every day.
Yeah.
You're gonna miss part of it, but at the same time, it's time to focus on the other important things in life. The more important things. The wife, the family, stuff like that.
Good
Devote
call.
all my time to them. So I'm not pulled left and right by the Army anymore. I can make my own choices, and
True.
That's the adrenaline rush now, Tom, is spending time with my wife.
Oh, wow. Oh, man, you just hurt Tom. I don't think I've ever
Well, he
heard.
was away from his
You know what's
for 24
funny?
years.
That's one of the first times I've ever seen somebody shoot Tom with words, and he was speechless. He was stunned.
So
Sorry.
let's talk about the retirement benefits, because they're never as good as I want them
Well,
to be
I
for
wrote-
how much you
Right.
risk your life.
Like, here's something I
and
wrote down.
What you went through.
I wrote down VA loan for last week's Friday Free Show, because my wife and I were talking about, like, shouldn't it be the opposite of, like, when a VA loan, when you get a VA loan, shouldn't that person, like, almost be guaranteed the home?
Oh, it's the worst loan.
It is the worst loan. So
Like,
why?
my sister.
I'm being serious when I ask that.
Yeah.
Why are the military people penalized for dedicating parts of their life to protecting us? Why are their loans the worst loan? And little Danny, who, I can walk up there with my loan, and my loan's better. Why? Because I think that's effed up.
Yeah, I do too.
That's wrong.
Well, the free market, they're like, VA, no.
VA hospitals
But why?
are notoriously
Why is
terrible.
that?
Yeah. Because, like, we only want to spend money on killing. Like, we don't want to spend money on helping the people
That's
that
the
kill.
correct answer.
Yeah.
God, it's stupid.
So,
We don't want to spend the money on the tanks and the black parachutes or the blue ones when they're jumping at day.
I'm just saying,
That's funny, dude.
A little less nuclear bombs, a
Yeah,
little more
housing.
More,
Yeah.
VA
Why
loans.
don't you drop the
More health care,
mental
health care.
Yeah, a little mental health. Drop
A lot
the
of
rate on that
PTSD
loan.
going on.
helping
right
the people that serve the country.
Yeah,
Right.
it just doesn't make any sense to me that when we have a VA loan, we got the house, no, you didn't. You're not going to get the house.
Yeah. Every other bid with every other loan is higher than
And that is BS.
My sister just went through it. She could not buy a house with
That's
a VA
BS.
loan because her husband was in the military,
Yep.
passed away. Like, she gets
Yep.
the benefits, but she has to go to.
And let's not
regular.
get started on their top tier medical care that vets get. Let's not even talk about
Right.
it.
So, what's the retirement benefits like?
So every after 20 years, you get 50% of your basic pay. So whatever rank you were, your highest rank and this is the system I was under. They've changed it in the recent years, but the highest rank that I was for the past 3 years, I get 50% of that for life at 20 years, and every year over that is an additional 2.5%. So if
Do they cut you a
if I
check
do the math,
each year, or is it like a monthly payment?
monthly payment.
Okay.
So
Wow.
monthly
That's
payment.
nice.
So you can
That's
budget.
pretty good. What do you
Yeah.
get? What is that like? 3.5 grand.
Well, I mean, I can't do the math like you, Tom. I'm not a math guy.
Neither can
so-
I.
Neither can I.
But I could spend money, and if I'd been in the military, I'd be a jet ski riding son of a gun.
I just want to know, like, if
Yeah.
I get $4 grand a month, like, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I get me a ski
Yeah,
boat.
no, it's about 35 a month.
No,
Yeah, that's a
pretty good.
Corvette, J.C. Harrelson.
Well, now that you're for life, that's good. Like, I wondered if it only kicked in at like 60 or something, but
No.
you get it now, right?
That's good.
Oh yeah, it starts now.
And you
Yeah,
get it,
that's
and
pretty
you
good.
get it until your last breath, right?
Yep, and then I'm paying into another program that after I die, my wife still gets the majority of my pension. until she dies.
All right.
That's awesome.
So
Morbid,
yeah.
but awesome.
So what are you going to
Still
do?
doesn't feel like enough, right? For
Right,
doing
no.
24 years
No,
in the military.
I'm serious about the home thing. Really bothers me. It doesn't make any.
Yeah.
It bothers the.
So Brandon, what are you going to
The
do
VA
now?
The VA loan. Oh, what am I going to do now? My last 4 years in the Army, I was actually working at a college up in New England. So I was teaching, college kids how to become officers and commission as officers in the Army.
Oh,
so
wow.
I finished my graduate degree in higher education, and I'm going to work as a academic advisor at a university.
Oh wow!
So
And
continue along
with
that path.
with sort of a focus on other students that want to go like a military track, you'll kind of help guide them into officer positions. That's a dope job.
Oh no! For the civilian part after retirement, it'll be any student that needs academic advice.
Oh, cool.
How
So
tough? How tough is boot camp nowadays?
Well, he used to
with the weakening
He
of
used
our
to teach
society.
boot camp. He was. Weren't you an instructor at boot camp?
I taught U.S. weapons during the basic training phase, so I wasn't like a drill sergeant or
Gotcha.
anything like that. But the drill sergeants would bring all the privates to the weapons range that I was at, and I would teach them about the different types of machine guns, and I would teach them about claymores, and I would teach them about night optics, thermal optics. So yeah,
I've
did that
always
for, a
wanted
couple
night
years.
optics just to walk around in my house or like look out my
Yeah.
like go out on my balcony with like a whole rig on my head, like the one that they do for the remember the old Army commercials? Sometimes you'll see them in a magazine. It'll just be like a cool looking dude all outfitted in his gear, and he's got that big like doctor like optometrist thing on his head.
Yeah.
And I want one of those just to like stand on my balcony. How much are those?
The ones they make now, they incorporated augmented reality into it, so it has a passive and an active night vision system on it, so it can pick up low light and amplify it. It could also detect thermal and throw that over the image itself. I think the last time I touched one of those, probably about $20,000.
Woo! My God, for one headset, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, and I mean they're cool for about 10 minutes until your head starts. You get a splitting headache.
Yeah, I
and
got a
migraine
buddy.
just from it.
Yeah, I got a
sitting on
buddy
your
that does
head.
that, and he says the same thing. He said it took him literally years to get used to it.
If you left it on the floor somewhere, would someone get mad at you about that? Like,
That's a good question. You got to clean up your Oculus.
Yeah, because the Grizz told me he left like $100,000 of communication equipment in Afghanistan.
Oh, don't talk about leaving
and,
equipment.
and they just laughed it off and flew away.
Yeah, I mean it all depends. There's some that is more secure than others. So if it's just like a regular radio that you can't put any type of crypto in, then it's no big deal. But if you have one of our radios that you put encryption in that you don't want the enemy getting hold, that's a real big deal.
Well, I was just wondering if your commander would be like, you left that's $20,000 you left on the floor, you idiot.
Sign out of your iPads
Yeah.
before we fly out of here.
Yeah, I was wondering if they care if they're like, we've got a ton of these.
No, yeah, you'll receive some non-judicial punishment. You'll have to forfeit some of your pay. You might even lose rank. Depending on the severity, they might even throw you in jail.
Oh my God!
Oh my God!
It was the worst.
I tried to sign out of my
Maybe
iPad.
don't mention that the Grizz left a bunch of.
Oh, we mention it every
Yeah,
show. And we keep saying there's statute of limitations, but some of my military friends say that's not how it works. But we don't know.
So the Grizz, I actually need, if you could give me his last name and his first name, I might have to contact
Sure,
somebody.
Bob
Oh,
Lando.
yeah.
Robert Lando.
He told me it's so unorganized that there's nothing you can do. Anyway,
No, that sounds about right. That
Yeah.
sounds about
Brandon
right.
laughed. He knows.
Hey, thanks for your time today, man. This was super duper fun, and we're glad that you're out, and we're glad that now your priorities have shifted to wife and family, and we're glad you're safe, and enjoy that 50% a month, man. That's awesome.
Enjoy that retirement.
Get them jet skis and maybe a houseboat.
Yeah, go use my VA loan and refly for a house.
No,
There you go.
this guy-
StreamlineCalifornia.com.
This guy's got it out for me. All right, dude. We'll talk to you later.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, man.
sir.
Be
And
good.
Sam.
Yes.
Oh, no, he said
Oh.
bye.
Oh, they said bye, Sam.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was like, what'd I do?
Real men always say goodbye to the lady at the
Yeah,
end.
yeah.
Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
I need to add that to
gentleman.
my chirping. No, it's not a gentleman thing. It's more of a,
It's misogynistic.
no,
because I'm
it's not
last?
misogynistic either. It's
No,
more
no.
of a half gentleman, half a.
It is like a gentleman, but he's like
It
also there's a
like-
little bit of
there's a
horniness.
horniness to it, but
Horny gentleman.
It's light.
Yeah.
It's a light horniness, but it's almost like he's saying, and see
He's
if you,
acknowledging me.
did you pick up on this? No, what he's saying is, hey Sam, only man in the room is on the phone.
That's right, 240 Bravo.
Yeah, these two guys you're with, lamos.
Like, because part of being a true, like, even if you go even take it geographically, a true Southern gentleman is being ultra polite to the opposite sex, right?
Yeah,
But-
well, you baby them.
But
You put your
so,
coat in the puddle. You open the doors for them.
So you are treating them differently
your hat off.
than men, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Which is the opposite of like, hey,
I
treat everybody equally.
No,
so,
I don't. I treat all women differently than men.
Yeah, you're like, so like,
I treat them like delicate flowers. Delicate, not as smart flowers.
and like being ultra polite to them, and throwing your coat on the mud puddle.
Are you extra polite to people?
Well,
Well, he doesn't like to disappoint people.
I'm super progressive. I treat
Oh.
everybody
Yeah.
equal. That's
That's
why I
what
don't
they
pick
call
up the
you.
box.
That's true.
That's what they
Yeah,
call
like
you.
that, yeah.
Like, you're no different than a man.
They call
to
you
me.
super
How dare
progressive.
you?
No,
I'm just saying.
He said that to me one
Like,
time.
the box on the floor,
Yeah.
you picking it up. I'm not gonna be like, oh, let me get that little lady.
And I noticed you've been using the pronouns "they" for everybody that works here, and I don't.
I appreciate it. It's
but
fine.
I'm not that way. I'm a man. I'm he.
No. They. Anyway, I wonder, like, knowing that you're.
You
gonna
didn't wonder
get,
anything. You were thinking about that as you said, "I wonder," weren't you? Did I get
Oh,
it?
you got it right.
He's got nothing.
Because I do that.
But I
too.
got something. I got
I do
it.
that too. I go, you know what's crazy? And you're like,
Make something
you
up
have nothing
instantaneously.
crazy in there. There's nothing crazy in
I'll
there.
find something crazy.
It's all crazy.
Anyway, getting that 35, like, I like the idea of getting a set amount each month
For
for
sure.
life. I know
That
everybody
doesn't
does.
seem like enough.
But I don't like
For
the
all the
idea.
stuff he's
Okay,
done.
I don't like
Yeah.
the idea of jumping out of a plane and almost dying
Right.
in the Ukraine.
No, I
for
know. Yeah.
that much money.
Whether or
Right.
not it's fair
like
is different,
Sam
but like,
said, not enough. Like when you really add it up,
For 24 years
not
of
enough.
service?
Not enough. I haven't even done that at real radio. Like I've been there, 22, 21 years?
like someone,
20? Maybe 20?
If someone told me like you're getting like $3,500 a month forever until
Right.
you die, right? Like, I know the smart thing would do is like, all right, this guy's Daniel's age, he's 45. Like, get another full-time job, and then you're really making bank, right? You're making a full-time paycheck
Sure.
and this money. But to me,
Or-
I would be like, well, how can I live off only
Yes.
this and do nothing?
Yeah.
That's
Man.
the first thing I would go do. Like, what's the least amount I could do with this
I
$3,500?
instantly go to, if this thing started getting a little shaky,
Oh.
I instantly
Shaky.
I instantly go to finding some
It's
sort
shaking.
of double wide
Ah.
or single wide that I live in alone.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
abandoned my family. I mean, that's the
No.
easiest thing to do. Because they'll be better off without me. Don't get that twisted. I'm not saying that
You're bringing
to be
them down.
mean.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm
You're
actually
helping
it's the
them.
opposite of that. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I abandoned my family. They're better off. I live in a single wide, and then I do some sort of disgusting OnlyFans to prop myself up. I got to find a bunch of people that want to see my disgusting OnlyFans, and then if
I
I
don't
can
know if
get
they wanna see
just
that.
enough subscribers, and then leech off the government just enough to keep me alive until I die.
What I wonder what's the like the dude that makes the most money off OnlyFans? You know, like I wonder
The
what
man, you mean? Like, why would you say the dude?
Well, I'm just saying, like
I wonder.
The dude
a
about
male.
I wonder which bro makes the most on OnlyFans.
like what male makes the most money? Because I imagine
It could be
it's
that
not
Broadway star that Sam and I were looking at this morning who has a mega Broadway ding dong.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I
heard
mean,
you
it
talking
is
about it.
wowie wooey. I mean, he does a Broadway show about a man coming out as homosexual who is a professional baseball player. I don't know if it's set in a particular time, but there's a shower scene and somebody snuck in a camera and videoed this dude, and it is a soft jumbo.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah.
that's impressive.
Yeah, it is impressive.
Although
So apparently, before he deleted his account, the rapper Tyga was the highest paid male on OnlyFans, $7.69 million.
Tyga?
whoa,
Was he nude?
But he's now deleted it. I don't know. Oh, it says he would share his music's album behind-the-scene videos, intimate photos, and more at a monthly fee of $20.
He made $7 million.
Wait, was that the guy
That's
from
what
Hamilton?
It says again on this.
Was that the guy from Hamilton?
I don't know.
I think it was.
Was he in Hamilton?
And I think it was the guy that played George Washington.
No.
I saw
That's
George
Tiger?
Washington's big jumbo.
What? So, I mean, I wonder why he deleted the account. Like, you make that much money? I don't think anybody would look down, like, or be like, "Oh, what are you doing?" You know,
only
$7
way-
million.
I can give you a reason why you would do that is because another company that wants to compete with OnlyFans came to you and said, "Hey, you got to be exclusive to us." He'll relaunch it on another platform and get like bonus money from the company and become like their advertiser.
Yeah, that could.
Because nobody's really competing with OnlyFans. I mean, there are some, but we need another big name, right?
Yeah.
Because we got Hulu and Netflix. They go neck and neck. Not to mention HBO Max, not to mention everything else that's out there for a streaming service. Paramount, Plus.
There are a couple more that have been popping up, but I don't know the names of them. You know what I mean?
Right,
They're not
that's
big
what
enough.
I mean.
Yeah.
Like OnlyFans is like the industry
just-
standard. That is the Kleenex of like selling your own stuff.
Yeah. I just wondered what the demand was for males on OnlyFans, like comparative to females. I just imagined that it would be a much less demand for the males.
Real quick, look up that
You
Broadway
also,
guy.
I think you're also forgetting. Not women are horny as well, but gay men.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, yeah. I know
You
there's a
gotta
lot of
factor-
gay
They will
men.
drop money because they got double income.
Do you know
But just
how many dudes
statistically,
I
there's
would
more creepy, horny dudes that are into girls than there's gay men.
Can you imagine how many OnlyFans I would subscribe to for men if I were? Because I think you get better quality there with the dudes.
Yeah.
Because there's not really a market for like. I mean, there is like dude porn, but now I'm doing it. Why am I saying dudes? Why are we saying dudes a lot?
Safari Samuels made $2 million.
Safari Sam.
Who's this? Safari Sam?
Who's Safari?
Isn't that, that's the guy that's married to Nicki Minaj, right?
I didn't know Nicki Minaj was married.
Yeah.
To Safari Sam?
I thought so.
God.
Samuels.
Safari Sam. Wasn't that a video game? Safari Sam was a video game that competed with the original Pitfall.
No, that's
Remember Pitfall?
Yeah. It's, oh, we gotta go.
Yep.
Bye-bye. Welcome back to A Corporate Time. So we got some guests in studio.
We do indeed.
Joe and Andy are here from Blanchard Insurance. How you guys doing?
What's going on, guys?
That's not what they're called.
How dare you?
Why'd you
I'm not
do
gonna
that?
say- I'm not
Hold on.
gonna
say their name.
We gotta start over.
No, come on. I'm
No,
not
we gotta
gonna-
start
no,
over now.
I thought that's not actually something they
Oh, they
wanted
got a
me to
whole
say.
graphic.
Yeah,
they sent
got-
over a whole
They
graphic.
have it set over like they have an animated series
hold on.
on Netflix. I feel like they have a children's show.
Hold on. Do you want me to really say
Yeah,
it? Or,
yeah, say
okay. The Big B boys?
Yeah.
You're grown men. You're adults. I can't. You're big boys. How you guys doing?
Doing great. Yeah, pleasure to be here.
So,
Thanks for having us.
I know. Let's talk insurance here.
Because that's what the big B boys do, right?
Yep.
The big B's, you guys know the insurance.
Yep.
How did you decide to change your personas into the big B boys?
You know, it was just a lot of thought by our higher ups here. You know, it was
Because it's fun, and normally
it's a
fun
fun
is
thing.
Jamie,
not
is it
in
Jamie?
Yeah,
I
is it
think he's
Jamie?
bullying you.
Oh yeah, that's a
What's-
Jamie decision.
What's
I thought he was
interesting,
bullying you.
what I like about this is insurance, notoriously, like Tom comes and has interwoven himself into an insurance family.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
And if there's anything I learned from Tom is that normally
Yeah,
when
yeah.
it's like time to work, insurance not so fun. Now I do know that insurance people love to party. I know
Oh, a big convention is coming up
Conventions,
soon.
yeah, the big
You
convention.
gotta take out the stress somehow. You know?
But but normally you don't see insurance people like label themselves as fun. Hence the name Big B Boys. A little too fun for insurance. So why? Why did you go in a fun direction
Well,
for
that's
insurance?
that's what we are. We're unconventional. You know, we're trying to break the mold of what the typical insurance agent is. So we're trying to put a new spin on it. You know, try to bring a little bit of modernism or youthfulness to the
Whimsy?
industry, if you will.
Some whimsy.
Yeah, you do.
Some big words out
like,
there.
every year, because I'm married into an insurance family.
It was
I don't
this
know if you
plan
guys
all
knew
along.
that.
It was this plan all along. He's no different.
Here's my
than,
backup plan.
He's
yeah.
no different than any of
I
these
didn't think
women.
this would last.
These women you see on Dateline that weave their way into families and eventually it ends in murder.
Yeah. My father-in-law runs an insurance agency, and then I just thought I was gonna, he was gonna hire me. I call him one day and be like, the bear suit thing didn't work out.
He's like, I got an idea for you. You could be the low T-boy. You have low testosterone.
And then he just hires me, and then I start working insurance, and then I just go to the conventions. I go to the conventions every year.
But you couldn't work with them because they like fun.
No. Well, at the convention, everybody likes drinking, and I like drinking. That's all I see. It's like you drink, party, you watch Shania Twain or whoever they hire. They got like a big.
Shania.
I think it was Lady A. I think it was
Lady Annabelle.
You can't say that.
Whoa! Can't say that. It's Lady A, and they're a they.
Anyway, and when I'm there at the conventions, it's just like you party, everybody. I didn't see no business going on.
I see no business going on, sir.
Just partying.
It's people partying in polos.
Yeah, I know how to party in a polo. That's my thing.
That is your thing.
And so it fit perfectly. Yeah. Anyway. So
back to insurance.
I got a question for you. My buddy, he lives down south, and he told me that he got a letter in the mail saying his insurance is getting canceled because he's got a trampoline in his backyard, and he lives he had a 5-acre property, and he's like, there's no way anybody could have seen the trampoline in my backyard. Is behind the garage or whatever.
I hate this story. This one makes me mad because I'm seeing trampolines be gifted on the side of the road. Right. I've seen more than 3 different trampolines, brand new, that just somebody drags it out to the road, and then you'll see a sign on that says free, and I'm like, why would they throw out a free brand new trampoline? And I think Tom has the idea.
And then he's in the letter. There was a drone picture of the trampoline in his backyard that I guess the insurance agency or the company that he was insured by sending people out to take drone footage of people's backyards so they can cancel their policy.
That's the lowest person on, right? Out of drone operators, you're the
fun killer.
You're the worst one.
I see another trampoline because that the homeowner will have to give away, and their kids will be sad.
Exactly, it's sad kids. And here's my problem with it: drones are supposed to be fun. I don't think they're supposed to be used for murder and wars or flying over people's houses and taking the trampolines. I think drones are originally, the purpose of it was just to fly around so you could wave back at your drone, and it's a novelty.
So at first I was skeptical. I was like, no, they flew a drone over your house and caught you with the trampoline. But then he's like, dude, they canceled my homeowners.
Hillbillies that shoot drones out of the sky are not that crazy.
Right. Yeah.
So is that actually happening?
Yeah. I actually, just last week, we had a client, they flew a drone over. It's actually through Citizens. And, I had to email him and say, hey, you got to get rid of the trampoline or you're going to get canceled. And sure enough, he's like, all right, I'm getting rid of it.
Oh, there's a bunch of free trampolines.
And then they drag them. It is an epidemic. If you want a trampoline.
If I see one on the side, I'm taking it.
Dude, I can tell you where one is right now. And the funny thing is that they stay out there for a long time because nobody wants them.
You're going to stack them like Mr. Beast in the backyard?
No, where are you going to put it?
Castleberry Beast.
Oh, my God.
That's not fitting in your car.
Castleberry. But it's funny, nobody can put them in their backyard because they're just going to get a drone float over them. So you have all these trampolines with no homes.
So is it the best? Because I've been wanting to install a diving board into my pool. They're
already shaking their head no.
Well,
so that's probably.
I had one, and then my friend Abaca Richardson, she's named after the Bahamas, Abaca Richardson. She did a flip, and she hit her head. And then my dad was so mad because he had to put his cigarette down and dive in and get her because she was going to drown. And he got out and he saved her life. And, but it was rough. She had a contusion on her head.
Because you could get one from China. I already looked it up.
Yeah, they still sell them.
Yeah. And they'll send you a kit over, and then you just got to bolt it down to the
Chinese
cement.
Kit. That's not
what's funny is every kit is from China.
That's true.
And then after the kids use it, I'll just put a pool floater or whatever on top of it in case they throw.
Put a trampoline on top of it.
Cover it with a trampoline.
And it's like the trampoline's easy to see with a drone. Like the diving board, I've got a pool enclosure. Like you're not gonna be able to really see it.
Make it detachable.
If I paint it the same color as the pool,
it'd be the edge. Only the back part's white, and then there'd be like a little bit of an area where it's all blue. And then
exactly, like a fish.
I'll get in there with a detail brush and I'll paint waves.
So our diving board's still frowned upon. Less likely though than trampolines, right?
They're honestly kind of in the same category. A lot of them will give you a hard time about both of them.
Liability.
Yeah, just anytime there's additional exposure on the property.
What about a slide?
No fun. They don't want
slide.
They don't like slides.
No slide?
They don't like fun.
I thought slides are cool.
Hey Tom, you should be.
Hold on. When my father my father died thinking slides were okay. He did.
Yeah.
He wanted to do something. He's like,
better
well,
time.
can't have a diving board. Well, I'll get a slide. Slides are okay.
You need the faded light blue, the fiberglass one that a big redneck mama will fall
Oh,
over.
yeah.
Like she goes to start sliding down
Yeah.
and then she just leans to the
Falls off the
side.
side.
Yeah, it falls
yeah, right on the hard ass concrete.
You know, my dad, we had one slide with one pool, but my dad would not pony up for the little high pressure hose that went up the ladder and would spray water down it. He would make me get up there with a bucket and wet it for the kids.
So
We
funny.
were cheap. We were a cheap family.
So
hey, it works.
So nowadays, I see. I mean, like insurance costs are skyrocketing, and I saw some like social media headline that because Florida's become the most expensive state to live in. Like a lot of the reason too people can't buy houses, the insurance costs are so high. Is there anything that anybody can do to lessen their insurance costs?
I mean, right now we're always urging people to reach out to your local state legislature and, see if we can do anything about, reform. Because right now there's just a lot of issues with the industry. And unfortunately, there's just, they've been trying to do or, make reform throughout the Florida Supreme Court, but they just haven't been able to. So, if everyone can reach out to your local state representative and see what we can do about, getting them to.
That's too hard.
Raise your hand.
You're asking me.
Get a new roof. Get a new
Can I
roof.
just call you, and then you tell me what's the cheapest rate?
Raise your hand
That's
if you've
all I
ever
want.
written to a congressperson.
My hand's not raised.
I have. You can do an email, and a lot of times they'll already have it form. It's like a form email already ready to go. So maybe we could do something like it. We'll get an email ready to go, and then if you want to do it, we'll make it super easy for you.
I'm
Fire it off.
not joking. I've never written a letter to anybody. I'm 40 years old.
Well, you can barely
I've
write.
written an email. Does that count? Like I've never sent a letter to anybody.
I'm gonna give you a compliment. You wrote an email yesterday to a dentist, and that was probably your best writing you've ever done.
Yeah. Well, that's money involved.
Man, when there's money on the table, this guy's damn Chaucer over here.
I'll ask my wife to proofread it.
Damn it.
So, but if I called you guys, you could tell me, like, all right, this is what you need to do. Like, you get the wind mitigation thing.
Get the wind mitt, get a new roof, you get some updates.
Can you give me this information in a rap?
No, please
We
don't.
were told that you rapped.
I don't know.
Wind
Right.
mitigation, that's the situation.
They're all gonna bully you back at the office. Don't make a fool of yourself.
Don't do it.
Yeah, that's what
Let
they want.
me do it for you.
We did get an update email
is
from
this
Mike,
live?
and he said to don't go easy on them.
No, Mike wants me to bully him.
Yeah. He says,
Listen,
quote-
Mike pays the bills. So
quote,
I'll do
don't
whatever
hold-
he says.
He likes to see us embarrassed.
You guys and I, Mike's the boss. So I'll do it. Mike wants me to bully you. I'll be
He
boys. Here
says
it comes.
don't hold back and beat them up a little. Lord knows they need it.
No. That's all I
And he
like.
also called you the beehole.
No.
Is it true that
He said
around the
B-boys.
Is it true around the office when you guys do things that are unsavory that the rest of the staff refers to you as those disgusting beeholes?
I think that's gonna happen. Now.
Okay,
I think
well,
that-
let's
let's
go.
put that in
Or
the
the big beehole boys.
Yeah, the big beehole boys. Hey, where's my chair? Oh, I don't know. Why don't you check the big beehole boys? Maybe they sat on it.
You wanted it, Mike. We're giving it
Yeah,
to you.
Mikey, let them eat cake, right?
So what about health insurance? Any other it all seems ridiculous at this point. As far as how expensive everything is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's getting up there. It's just I think with the way the roofs are going around, people are getting new roofs through insurance, so that's
I
it's
know
causing the
that.
rates to go
I know
up.
that guy. Well, I got a hailstorm.
Yeah.
I have a video of it.
Yeah.
They came.
Yeah, a Miami hailstorm. I know that. He gets up there with a hammer, he's banging on his roof.
Yeah.
The old Miami hailstorm.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, how bad is? I mean, because I grew up in Miami, and I've said this before a million times,
crazy.
but
Scam land.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that people made legitimate insurance claims. Before,
Yeah.
when I became an adult,
Yeah,
I
it was just a process.
When someone's like, no, this, I was like, what? That's how the mentality was in Miami. It was like, oh no, this is every claim is a scam.
Yeah.
And then someone comes to your house, they dig up your floors, they put the fans in, and they're like, these fans, $18,000. They're like, what? And it's like, yeah, you gotta pay the fans.
The more you talk
and then I'm
about
like, why
this,
are you have an Escalade with rims? You're a public adjuster.
You know what's funny is the more you talk about this, there is a time that I remember in my childhood, and there's photos of it, like when my dad passed away. I put a picture up of him. He's in that V-neck shirt, and he's holding a cigarette, and he's like poofing his muscles. I know a lot of listeners have seen this photo.
Yeah.
But it's because our whole entire house got flooded because of our washer.
Oh yeah,
You know,
that's when they bring the fans.
And we got the fans, and
36,000.
And I never put two and two together. But after that was when my dad purchased his first loaded Eddie Bauer Ford Expedition.
There you go.
And I put together the fans. I think this is why we're in business together. I think we were born in a scam house.
I remember people telling me they're like, "Oh yeah, my dishwasher leaked a little bit. Look at this drywall damage." $28,000. I'm like, $28,000 for a little bit of wet on a drywall? And they're like, yeah, that's how it works. And they bring in the fans.
Yep.
Anyway, so that caused everybody's insurance to skyrocket.
Pretty much, yeah.
Claims,
yeah.
Claims
That litigation, I mean, litigation is the real thing.
Yeah.
I think there's a statistic since back in 2013, there was about $15 billion paid out, and about 10% of that actually goes towards, the client and their repairs. The rest of it goes towards lawyers, goes towards, whatever the...
Oh, the adjusters.
Yeah, the adjusters. All
the
that.
rims.
Yeah.
The rims. Yeah.
So there's a lot of fluff in there,
Expedition.
If that 10% was the only amount that went out to, towards claims and whatnot,
Your
we
rates
probably
would be
wouldn't be
a
in
little
this
lower,
situation. Yeah,
What's the
exactly.
hardest part about what you guys do?
Dealing with the companies, man. These underwriters
Yeah,
are crazy. They want
underwriting.
to say no to everything.
Yeah.
It's gotten a lot stricter.
Yeah, they're getting
That's why
so strict.
we've got 30 carriers, independent agency, so we get a lot of people from you guys. I've sold a bunch of auto insurance, but
Good.
we always try and do our best, and we treat them like family.
Do you find that it's harder to do that because your beehole is so big?
Come on.
Mike, that's for you, Mike. That's for you, Mike.
B-boys, not B-holes.
So how can...
Oh, man, what have we done?
I wasn't going to say it. Hold on. I wasn't even going to say it.
Put it on the awards
Yep.
for most embarrassing thing to do with a client.
Okay.
So
Do we still have that award?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we do now.
So how can people contact the B-Boys?
We're on social media, so you can add us on Instagram
At Blanchard
at Blanchard Insurance. We're on Facebook.
Joe insures.
Joe Insures, that's his local Instagram handle.
Yep.
You're always welcome to call into the office. Our
Yeah.
office number is 407-788-8640.
Yep.
Like I said, my name's Andy. This is Joe. You can
Yep.
ask for either of us.
We have other agents too.
Yeah, and then we also have
Just give 'em a shout
emails. So it's either Andrew or Joe at Blanchard Insurance.
Yep.
Now, do you ever get last question when you make your social media? This
Be
happens at
wary
radio.
of the last question because he normally weaves into his Tom's final thought. Are you doing your final thought?
This happens in radio, and I've seen it happen where you start your social media account and you're in radio, so your name is like Radio Bob, and then things don't work out, and then next thing
you're
you know,
bartending at Coconut.
and then your social media name is Radio Bob.
Yeah.
You're working H.H. Greg.
Yeah.
Are
Are you warning them to not get the B-boy license plate?
No. I'm just saying,
They're already on the
insurance.
way.
Yeah.
We already ordered those.
Anyway, thanks for coming in, guys.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank
Appreciate
you guys.
having us on.
Thanks to Mike for tuning in to make
Yeah.
sure we slapped you around good.
yeah. And again, BlanchardInsurance.com.
Oh, they're good folks.
They do everything.
Jamie's always on our page. Jamie Hoover. She'll answer questions for you there on the BDM page. And yes, it is really her. You'll get a pretty prompt answer just on the BDM page, which is crazy, but we thank her for doing that.
And just let them know you're a Tom and Dan listener.
Please do.
You'll get better treatment. Like it's knowing someone does help. Like instead of just blindly calling a company, it's like you call Blanchard. You're like, hey, I'm a Tom and Dan listener. They are
And
like,
again,
okay.
they're trying to unstuff something that is traditionally stuffy, and we're making a lot of jokes today. But if you
Yeah.
call and said, "Hey, I heard the B-boys," I'm sure they're going to like that, and I'm sure they're going to be more happy to get you, in the pipeline and fix you up with some insurance.
Just see if you can get a better rate.
Yeah.
It doesn't,
Yeah.
it doesn't cost anything to
course.
call you guys, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't cost anything, and
Nope.
we've helped a lot of your listeners, so we appreciate
Love
that.
it.
And anyone else that we can help, just give us a call.
Sometimes
really-
it's a lot of money, $1,500 sometimes on homeowners insurance. People don't shop; they go to these captive carriers. We have 30 carriers, so.
There you go.
Awesome.
It's nice to meet you guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming in. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having us, guys.
And
Yeah.
we'll take a quick break.
We'll be right back.
All right, thank you.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time. What do you want to do now, buddy?
Let's do some voicemail email.
All right. Voicemails and emails can be left Multiple ways, easiest way for email, show@tomanddan.com. That goes straight to me and Samantha. And if you want to leave us a voicemail message, multiple ways to do that too. You can call 1-844-TOMNDAN. That's our landline. You can just call that and leave a message. And then you can get a free app. All of our shows are on there. If you're a BDM member, you get extra shows. ACT's on there, so you can listen to all of those. And there's a little button that says mediocre messages. If you hold that down and talk into your phone, you will leave us a voicemail message. Let's start with emails.
Okay. Discord poop story.
Yes, this is from yesterday. I never talk about our Discord. We actually have a
I think
Discord.
there's a couple of them, right?
Yeah, I think there's one main one that I'm in,
Okay.
but
Haven't checked in lately.
it's good. Yeah, I left it open and I'm in there, and then some guys are talking about different beers and stuff like that. And then one guy relayed a story that reminded me of like a great Clear Channel poop story that Tom and I have. So I'll let Sam read the email.
Real quick, just
yes.
because I don't understand Discord, is it basically a big
Message
open
board.
message board?
Yep. Just think message board.
Okay.
Yeah, link to our program that is related to Twitch.
Kind of like Reddit.
Similar. Yeah.
There you search a category and you can go into the Tom and Dan Discord.
More like a news group. Yeah, easier to
Okay.
navigate. I think there's less negativity there. I like the Discord. But
You
yeah.
can do audio in there too.
Yep, you can do audio in there.
So it says, so at work, there's someone who keeps crapping up the men's bathroom stall and clogging it with toilet paper. Like, they've done this multiple times over the last few weeks. For reference, the bathroom setup is a handicap stall, regular stall, urinal, and he is destroying the obviously preferred stall of choice. Here I am this morning doing my business when I hear whoever is next to me in the handicap stall using a mountain of toilet paper and flushing repeatedly. I'm like, oh, F, it's that guy. And desperately tried to get out and get a look at him, but only saw his shoes as he left his crime scene. Have a good night.
So
This reminded me of the time I was pooping next to Campmeyer. I could see his sandals under the thing. And it's like you can't tell who's pooping next to you. And I do judge you based on what I hear behind the Formica.
do some people not understand the etiquette of
I don't think
how
some
much
people care.
toilet paper to use and like
Some people don't know how to clean their bodies. Like some people, their parents never taught them how to properly go 1 and 2. And they didn't talk to them about how to do a 3 or how to do a 4.
Can you use enough toilet paper to actually clog the toilet?
I can, yeah.
I mean, that would have to be an insane amount, right?
I clog the toilet about every 9th do. I clog it.
Well,
I feel like that happens a lot.
I'm like a public restroom, though. I feel like
No,
those
they
toilets are
can't clog 'em.
stronger.
Those are the 18.
Plus, they use paper, like super thin
Yeah, yeah,
toilet
yeah.
paper.
And they use
So
those-
how much toilet paper is this
oh,
guy
the
using?
whole roll.
They use those 18 billiard ball flush per flush toilets.
Yeah. So, like, he must be using such an insane amount.
Well, you're also
Right?
discounting the
Have you ever clogged a public toilet or maybe a toilet at someone's house
I've
or
clogged the
business?
one at Clear Channel.
yeah.
And then you ran?
No, that was a different time. That was when somebody else clogged it, and they're all linked up because they like, give them one pipe. We can skimp on the toilets because they're DJs and they're a-holes. So they got like one pipe, and then Tom was in there peeing, and I'm in there taking a 2, and Tom flushes the toilet, and then my toilet started pushing my number 2 towards me. It was like pushing my own waist towards me, and I'm like, and I ran out naked. He saw me naked.
So, what are you supposed to do if someone in the business, do you put an all-out email to everybody?
Well, Mike
At first,
Spry-
do you confront the person and be like, hey, you don't know how to use the bathroom? Like,
Head of engineering,
Awkward.
Mike Spry at Clear Channel. Back in the day when I was still there, there was a guy that was going in there and flushing down handfuls of bolts.
yeah, but that was an attack. Like, that wasn't someone that didn't know how to use the bathroom properly. Like
That's guerrilla warfare.
You're not let me finish. See,
No.
I think you do the same thing. I think you put up the sign that says, because he put up a sign that said somebody has been flushing handfuls of bolts, and I'm going to pull the security tape and find out who it is, and you're fired. So you put the same sign on the door, and you say, hey, I know some chungus has been going in here and using copious amounts of toilet paper. Mind your paper usage. I'm going to check the tapes, and if I find out that you're coming and going when it gets clogged, you're fired. And that'll stop it.
well, you can't fire someone for using too much toilet paper.
And clogging
right?
the toilet repeatedly?
Damaging, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
a
a
right to
Florida,
work.
you can fire anybody.
Yeah, it's a right to work state. I will literally go to your desk and be like, I know you're the one with a big fat ass. You're fired.
Well, you can't fire someone for being fat.
No. I'm just. That was just what I yelled to them. I'm firing them because they used too much toilet paper and they clogged up. That'll be in the documents. What I put in the documents is going to be different from what I yell to your face. So that's what I'm saying.
Even if this guy did see.
He saw the shoes.
I saw the person.
I saw.
What is he going to do? Just narc on him and tell his bosses like this guy's been doing it?
That's what it sounded like he wanted to do because he was excited to try and get a peek.
Or do you confront him?
Or maybe you're just curious on who it is.
Let's not discount the fact that I remember what it's like to go to the 4th floor restroom at Clear Channel and be like, this is horrible. This is disgusting. If I find out who clogged every single toilet or who deuced in them and didn't flush, I'd like for them to be fired. Right?
Yeah.
There's a part of me that I get angry because I'm like, we're supposed to go in here and
we all have to use this bathroom.
This is like, I don't enjoy using this restroom. It's a necessity bathroom, and you're going in there, you're splattered zone, and you're not even flushing. Mm-hmm. Get fired. Right?
It is weird how people can act like that and then think
animals.
But if there was a sign on the door,
company.
If there was a sign on the door that said, "Hey, we look who's coming and going. If you go in there and if I'm the boss, if I walk in there and I see you went in there and you came out and I see the toilet got a deuce in there not flush, you're getting written up."
Oh,
that's a write-up.
It would stop it, I think. It would stop it.
I remember, so we should call Crystal about this story because I remember she used to work at a moving company, right? And it was over off OBT.
Near the mall.
It was near the mall. But
Florida Mall.
But it was in a building.
Industrial complex
that.
18-wheelers everywhere.
Yeah, 18-wheelers everywhere. And the 18-wheelers would back up, they have the big doors that they back up to and stuff.
The docking bay.
But so the building looked like that, but they had offices there, right? So
there's another funny story about this because didn't she have a secret admirer?
There was.
I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about that.
Yeah, there was one. Yeah, that was at the first place.
Oh man, so many good stories in that place.
Then the bird one.
The bird. Yeah. Then the lady that had the horse.
Yeah. But so in this particular case, there was the truckers that were using the bathroom at the actual facility.
9 a.m. taquito drop off.
And they had a men's and women's bathroom, but it was kind of out. They were in the actual warehouse area where. If you worked in the office, kind of like the office, right? Where you had to walk into the warehouse.
You go downstairs and see Daryl before you take a number 2.
And so she would go into the bathroom sometimes, and the truckers, I think they would use the women's bathroom when the men's bathroom was locked.
Yeah, of course.
Because
there's not a lot of women there.
Yeah. Because the only women that used the bathroom were 3 or 4 in the main office.
Guess what, ladies? It works both ways. If you're at a concert going to use the men's room and then look at me and be like, I'm sorry, I'm too many of them. Well, then I'm going to go S it up in your bathroom. Works both ways.
But they destroy it, and then she'd have to go in there, and then she would write multiple emails no one would care.
No.
It would be the manager would Michael Scott it and then write it back an all email Crystal's complaining about everybody
passive aggressive.
Yeah. So we ask all the disgusting truckers. She's her words, not mine. To stop using
you big fat truckers to stop crapping up her precious vegetarian bathroom. Wait, hold on a second. Why'd you say it that way?
I'd laugh and laugh. All right. Next email. Right.
Okay. How many pub subs get stolen in a given day?
I've always wanted. Okay, is this going to change how you guys think about me? Sometimes when I walk in there, I'm like, you're so weak. You're not a real man. Walk up there, and even though you didn't order a sub today, just grab one. Who cares? Be a man. Sometimes I think that way when I walk through Publix. It's like an internal dialogue.
Crazy. It says, I sometimes wonder how many pub subs are taken each day without being paid for and or paid for online and then taken from in-store by someone else. I've stopped paying ahead as a few go missing or unmade a month, but I still order ahead even with the sub ban it's about. Have a great day. P.S. Crazy launch on Friday morning. View from my house. And he sent a picture, everybody was taking pictures of that last launch that happened.
I like how he's like, hey, I don't know if you guys see this.
Here's
everybody's got a camera, and everybody took a picture of it and put it on social media.
Yeah.
Everybody saw it.
Yeah, they did. By the way,
I've had pub subs stolen from this Publix, but I never pay ahead.
You know,
I always pay in store.
I paid ahead one time, like last week, and there's supposed to be, like Norm is right, there's supposed to be a certain badge they put on the ones that are already paid. But I think they've been using the same one because he said that when you pay for it, it should be green. But the last couple times I've paid online, it's black. And it looks exactly the same. Like, I don't think there's any difference.
Probably ran out of stickers.
It just says
like,
paid. Like, if you flip the receipt, it will say, like, paid.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's all Publixes, but my Publix, they changed the pickup area to next to customer service. So you pick your sub up or your cake or whatever the hell you get in the customer service area, not the sub.
That's how Castleberry, yeah. It's like they got a
So they must have had a lot of people stealing them.
Castleberry, they put
Do they have a refrigerator or a heater over there?
No,
they do.
It's the same setup. It's just now it's
They have
in
to
front.
move it.
It's in front of the customer service area, not next to the. Because I went there to pick up my sub, and I was like, "Where is?" Because
Too many stolen subs.
Yeah, Castleberry's a hellhole. They got to put it in customer service so the thugsters don't go in there and steal your Orlando City black bean special.
It's a direct correlation to where you live. If you're Publix, put the sub pickup next to the customer service. Bad neighborhood.
Yeah. That's true.
Because it's not like that in Baldwin.
No.
Yeah.
I don't want it over near customer service. That's where the lottery tickets are. You know who buys those? Everybody.
Shout out to Hannah.
So I think that probably is a direct result of people's subs getting stolen.
Man, I am. I have one to eat today, but I think I'm pub subbed out finally.
You go through cycles.
I think I'm done with.
You'll eat a bunch of turkey and cheese subs, and then you cycle out.
This is a turkey and ham. I went for the turkey.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah, I had
I'm getting adventurous.
Put a little ham on there. Make it crazy.
The best thing that's ever happened to me with grocery stores or any stores is self-checkout.
Love it.
But you know how to run it.
Now I've actually learned because I like it better than any other. Like, I don't want to deal with anybody. I just self-check out and then get the hell out of here.
What if you're buying alcohol, though? You got to get a teen to come over.
Yeah, but they're always standing right there. Like, especially in Publix. Like, in Walmart, not so much. They're like, let's put quadruple the amount of and put one person who obviously doesn't care in charge of it that's never standing around.
I think they need a better way to do that so it doesn't have to be an actual human. Like, there's got to be something that you can do where
I can scan my own ID.
Well,
right?
they would think that you would carry a person of age's ID, scan it, and
That's
still
true.
get the beer.
Yeah,
My point is that we're creative. I think if we gave I'm not thinking of something right now, but I think if you gave me like a solid hour of talking it out with you guys, we could figure out a way to speed that process up where the lady doesn't have to stand there.
Can't there be a camera that checks my face and my ID so that it
Sure.
matches?
Yeah, there could be that.
Or
I'd be down for that's a great idea.
What if you pre-register?
That's what I'm thinking. Like pre-check at the airport.
Clear.
Yes.
So you pre-register.
I'm an alcoholic. I pre-registered my ID.
But they need facial recognition.
Right, exactly. Because they have to make sure it's you.
Yeah, because there are the state law. You have to be governed by that, and probably state law that a human has to check your ID.
People hate facial ID. Because they think it's stealing their soul or too much, you're getting too much into my business.
Listen, I'm sure Publix and every other company would want to make it more efficient so they didn't have to pay a human to do it.
Right.
But they probably are handcuffed by state law because, like you said, they can't do facial recognition. And then to change the state law would take a million years. They just give up. Put some minimum wage employee there and then put in their code when you're buying alcohol or spray paint.
Let's try this voicemail right here. One of the hottest topics that we have brought up in recent years, not divining rods, but actually the Saturn automobile, the Saturn line of automobiles.
Oh, yeah.
We've been talking about this. I've always made jokes about the Saturn barbecue because I would see the commercials and I always thought it was cool that if you had a Saturn, you could drive your Saturn Ion or whatever it is up to whatever the plant was, park there, get a hot dog, and see other Saturn owners. Here is a gentleman that has one on the road.
Tom, Dan, Sam. Hey, Saturns are pretty cool. Not all of them are great, but there's still a bunch of them on the road. My daughter is driving an 06 Saturn Ion, which is basically a cheaper version of a Cobalt.
Yep.
The Saturn Aura, which was a pretty sweet car, I wanted one, but they are basically a cheaper version of the Malibu.
Yep.
Saturn Relay was an Uplander, so on and so forth. Basically, just Saturns are cheaper versions of Chevys, which are more expensive versions of Buicks. So That's just how GM does stuff. Later.
Yeah, he's absolutely right. In fact, the Saturn Sky Roadster had another counterpart in a different, whatever it was. It was like a fancier Roadster, but I always wanted the Saturn Sky Roadster because I saw it on Project Runway so much.
So you said there's a documentary about the Saturn electric car that's out on Netflix, right?
Yes.
No, it's on YouTube. I'm not sure if it's on Netflix. It might be.
I think it's on YouTube.
But somebody posted it in the BDM group, and it's, what was it called? The Who Killed the Electric Car?
Yep, Who Killed the Electric Car.
And this was about the Saturn electric car.
Yeah,
Yes,
so,
the
and I think
EV1.
other iterations of electric cars, but namely about the EV1.
And it was the politics, obviously, like oil companies, other car manufacturers, I'm sure were mad because their whole business, like we were talking about,
Built on petroleum products.
Yeah. So when they did this, it bucked the system and everybody rebelled against it. And that's why they crushed them all.
I don't know. I mean, I want to watch it and find out.
Well, people in the chat room are saying it's pretty damn good, so I might watch it tonight.
It's crazy that you look back and you're like, wow, like, that is how everything works. Like, everything's based on money. So anytime you introduce something into the market that is competitive to that market, they're going to rebel against it and try to shut you down. It's like basic capitalism. But it's crazy. You can look back and you're like, oh, wow, they stopped progression. We could have had electric cars way sooner back then, if they didn't, stop it.
And it didn't seem like from
they
everything,
were right.
From everything that I've read, it doesn't seem like the car wasn't popular. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
It's not like what I'm reading. I don't see people going like, oh, we're turned off by that. We have no interest in that. It seems like as a commuter car, because it had the, 100-mile or 100-mile plus range, it really just, it was for people that lived in the city and still needed an automobile.
This stuff has happened where it seems like a crazy conspiracy theory, but you're like, no, this is history where like car manufacturers were like, I remember.
Well, QR codes are like the electric cars of, because like QR codes when they first came out in like 2010, nobody cared. And we did it for a little bit and we're like, this is a novelty. But then suddenly when we have a pandemic, we can't touch everything. Like QR codes are now like everywhere you go. It's like QR code crazy. On TV, like baseball, they'll run like, scan the QR code. And it's like.
But there's evidence and like, I guess they were open about it where like car manufacturers, I forgot which one, were like buying up the patents for like public transit. You know what I'm saying? Like they're buying up like public transit or slowing down public transit by buying certain patents and like stopping it or buying companies and just and stopping them, holding them. So that because they wanted more and more people to buy cars. So like a lot of cities and like the United States would be more efficient when it comes to public transit if it wasn't for automobile manufacturers like slowing that progress down because it was better for their business.
Right.
But that's what was, they were smart to do that for business wise, but they technically slowed and like hindered progression of our society. Right. So it's like, I understand why you did it, but you technically hurt society by doing that. But that stuff happens all the time. And it's still happening.
It ain't gonna stop. Capitalism.
Next email.
I like
All
capitalism.
right. This is from our friend Christine, and it says Tom's hatred of fun theory. So we got another conspiracy theory here.
I don't really think he hates fun. I just haven't figured out what he thinks of fun fully. Maybe he's just too realistic about fun.
No. Hey, broadcasters. So we all hear often how Tom hates fun.
Oh, Tom hates being called broadcaster. Why'd you start with that?
That's why she did it. We also have recently heard more and more examples of Tom caring about what people think. My theory is that Tom doesn't actually hate fun. He hates the outward expression of anything another person could judge. Think about it. Tom will sing We Are Young within the private confines of his own car, but will be embarrassed dancing in front of people at a wedding. He so fears the eyes of the public that he simply refuses to do anything that results in him standing out in a crowd. I know Tom will say he doesn't care what people think. He'll try to defend himself by saying things aren't inherently not fun, but Tom is the bad one and a liar. What Tom hates are the outputs of fun, the exuberance, the vulnerability, and the target on one's back by emoting in public. Tom, it's okay. Nobody's watching you. Nobody actually cares. Stop trying so hard to blend in when you already do. Lover of fun, Pig tease Christine.
Oh, thank you, Christine.
They all are watching me right now,
Yeah.
and they're making fun of me.
Well, but not naturally. They don't like. They are now because you're calling attention to it. But just like
They do it all the time. The listeners, they make fun of me. I see what they do, and then so like, her example is though they won't care. No one cares. They care. They're doing it to me now. So I'm not doing it to outside of this because I know what will happen because they proved it to me.
But you do seem to care a lot about what people think.
I don't. Okay.
He doesn't want anyone to look at him. He doesn't want anyone to judge
Because,
him.
like, even you wanting people to not be sad, like, let's say you're talking to some guy and he's giving you a pitch for some knives. He wants you to buy a set of knives. The fact that you will sit there for a very long time means that you actually care what this person thinks about you. You don't want this person to think that you're an a-hole.
Listen,
right?
Every grown man I ever grew up with, I've never seen have fun. Like my Uncle Carl, my Uncle Paul, my Pop-Pop, my stepdad Steve.
But your dad had fun.
No, I don't remember ever.
Steve had a bird.
Yeah, but
you wanted to kill his
flew away.
No, it didn't fly away.
Oh, well, Timmy let it out.
It was released by
that
you
is
and
terrible.
Timmy and
No,
your sister
it
in
got out.
a complex plan
No.
to destroy something that he loved.
So I don't know what even having fun is supposed to mean. Like all these men that I grew up with, like they went to work, went home, they watched football.
They never smiled.
They had some beers. They make some jokes, some off-color jokes,
a couple of racist jokes, and call it a day.
Yeah, but they just like work hard, get home. They're tired as hell. They like to get drunk.
Okay.
That was their fun. But they didn't know.
So do you think you have to live your life like that? Just because they did?
I don't know. Well, it's just I don't know. That's all I see. Like I see all my friends.
And they all died young.
They don't have. My friends don't have any fun. They all like me.
Yeah, they don't have any fun.
They just go there.
I
they
saw
have
the
kids,
wizard.
and I'm like,
The wizard this weekend was miserable.
Is that because they got too many kids?
He had a baby.
Yeah, I don't see anybody having fun.
My daughter's self-sufficient now, so the best thing that could have happened to me, because there were moments when I'd have to like wrangle Maisie and it was tough, but now Maisie's so independent that she just does everything. And I sat back and I watched the wizard, the poor wizard chasing a toddler, not even a toddler, a baby around. And the baby was just twisting him up, the crying, and then throwing cantaloupe and throwing
He
pizza.
wants to sit down and drink.
Yeah.
Like that's what you're like that.
He
so
had
I don't
one
know.
beer. He had one or half a beer.
You're not like dancing like Carlton at like at the stoplights. I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, what do you want me to do? Like that's I play some bets on a game. I watch some adult videos. I don't know what do you mean?
Okay.
All right, well, that's good fun.
Yeah,
Right.
Fun time for daddy.
Slow down there, Ray Liotta.
Going,
God, he's got real
I'll tend
hard.
to my plants. I'll play with my sons.
Well, that's fun, right?
I always
Yeah.
wanted to watch some adult films.
Like, I'd get in the pool with the kids, and then I'm wrestling around with them at the
And he's real serious
Mother's
about it,
Day.
too. He wrestled around, and he was
So it's
wrestling
like a
around.
whole job to be monster.
No, but then he stops, and he's like, all right,
Oh, no.
10 minutes. And then they're like, we still want to play. We still want to play. And he's like, I said 10 minutes. And I'm like, whoa.
Really?
Yeah, he's real serious about the kid play. Real serious
Just
about
out
it.
of like it winded me, so I can't do it
Well,
anymore.
give the monster a break.
Yeah. Anyway, all right, bye-bye. Welcome back to A Corporate Time. Our friend Carmen Morales is here. How you doing, Carmen?
Hi. It's so good to see you guys.
So good to see you, too.
Lady,
Hey.
gentlemen,
Yeah,
the royal guys.
And you have moved back. You're back in L.A. now,
I'm
right?
back in LA now.
Is it good? I mean, it's got to be a massive relief to be back at your true home base.
Yeah.
Because
I was here for like a year.
Right.
And it was I didn't move back because I had to. I moved back because my folks wanted me to be here for the pandemic. They're like, the world is ending. Why aren't you here? And I was like, it'll be over in a bit. Like, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
And
I got things to do.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't, but then I guess it is.
Yeah, I don't know. It goes back and forth. Depends on the day and who you're talking to,
Or the state you're in.
Yes.
Or
I
who
like
your
that your
governor
parents
is.
don't want you to come back to Florida for the pandemic.
I
They're like,
know.
I'm in California.
Where it's safer. It's significantly
They're
safer.
like, you
People
guys
don't
are
leave.
doing nothing.
Yeah.
Well, it really depends on if you believe it or not.
Yeah, that's
Right?
true. That's true.
I mean, here we never, like most comedians start with some sort of joke when, not you wouldn't because you're from here or have been.
Oh, no, I have a joke too.
Yeah, you've navigated Florida, but like most comedians that aren't from here immediately go like, well, you guys didn't take this serious.
Yeah, sure.
And I'm like, well, we did because we ended up getting it, and it was not cool, and and we've had listeners die, and it was it's a real thing. Yeah, I mean that's a real thing, but it was different here. Absolutely,
you're also not
different.
running the state.
No,
so it's like that's the other thing too. Is Florida is like quite a weird little conundrum in the sense that it's like we're here, we're not controlling it, but what do you want us to do? Like, you want us to the whole state to get up and move? Like that's not going to happen either.
If I was running the state, I would cheers with a Bud regular. So that's more American. The Miller Lite. I'm like, Miller Lite.
Yeah, what is that?
Anyway, so Carmen, you are, so close to never returning our emails, our phone calls.
That's never
because you'll be
happen.
rocking it.
It's nice to know that's the kind of person you think I am. Tom. I love it.
Well, no. I'll be
certain-
happy. I'll be like, yes, she's too famous to talk to.
We have a lot of those people.
I would feel happy for
a lot
you.
of comedians that will no longer return our calls. We have a list of them. Tom Rhodes because we made him mad. Bert Kreischer because too famous.
Oh yeah, Segura.
Too famous.
Any of the
the ones.
But it means that you've reached another level of fame.
Yeah, and we're happy.
Talking to us would only help us, not help you.
It would hurt you.
It wouldn't hurt you. It would just be a waste of time.
Well, it would kind of hurt you, I think, because people would be like, "Oh God, why is he doing that? I've never heard of these guys." And I think there's some of that.
Yeah, I don't
when Trump did Milk Boys. I was like, seriously, I was like, man, maybe should have dodged that one.
Milk Boys.
Remember the Milk Boys?
Is that the YouTube
guys?
guys?
This guy don't hear.
Yeah.
This is an old man over here.
Yeah, no, I get it.
So, Carmen, first, congratulations on your HBO
Thank you.
special.
It's a big TV debut.
Let's let everybody know how they can find it and where they can find it. I found it this morning on HBO Max. You can find it too. Look for the beautiful colors, and I don't know Spanish. What's it called?
Entre nos.
Entre nos. Did I do okay with that?
Yeah, you did great.
Entre nos.
Entre nos. It's kind of like a Comedy Central presents for Latinx comedians is kind of what the essentially it is. Because there's like a series and they pick a couple of comedians and then they film them and they put it out, and
it's pretty. It's like they shot it well. Mm-hmm. It's very, very, very pretty. And it's really funny. And I urge everybody to go out there and check it out. Sorry to the guy after you didn't listen.
Well,
I'm just being serious. I'll come back, but I didn't have time. I was just like, I want to make sure. I didn't want you to come in here and me be like, I haven't seen it yet, like because I do that with everything. So I'm like, no, I'm gonna watch this, and we watched it and we enjoyed it, but I was like, okay, I'll stop there.
Yeah. Well, hold on. No one told me everybody was watching it before you came in, so I didn't know that everybody else was going to do it.
Yesterday, make sure to watch Carmen's special.
It's just show prep.
Never listens to me. Never listens to me.
I thought you just said that as like hey, this is, make sure, make sure to brush your teeth.
Make sure.
It's just like a suggestion.
I just thought you were saying it like just to say it. I didn't know you were saying it for me to listen and digest the information.
I thought it was just,
so I'm curious to how this all happened, when you found out. I want to know about the filming and all that.
Sure.
Okay.
My relationship started with them like 5 years ago. I think I had been living in Los Angeles maybe a year, and I had been doing this pretty awful bar show that was run by a real a good comedian, but it was just a dive bar. Nobody gave a shit about comedy, so I was just constantly convincing people to listen to me.
Yeah,
right. And since I'd done the road for so long, like that wasn't that's my wheelhouse. So I used to go to that shitty show all the time, and the producer, his name was Ben Gonzalez, also a funny guy, was just after me doing it, and like he would start popping up shows over he just started producing shows around Los Angeles, and he knew every time he would open a new room, he would ask me to do it because he knew regardless of the situation, I would be able to make it work, right? Just because grizzled. Right?
I feel like we helped you with that with BB King's. You can kind of thank us a little bit.
We're instrumental to Carmen's success in how poorly we treated her. Yes. That's accurate.
It was just
I'm just saying, I don't think Bert got that kind of treatment.
You know what he did? What? We actually let him leave here with two of our most annoying listeners, and they went to Wing Out. You remember that? And I think that's when it dried up because he was like, these guys going to lunch with me. That's my Bert. And I'm like, I don't know, whatever you guys work out. And then they left, and then we never heard from him again.
No, you're right. That's their fault.
You know the guy because he just put some sod in for us.
So you're saying the two most annoying listeners that you guys had was also incremental to his success as well, because then
yeah.
shortly after that he blew up. So
that's when he got the bus. And
yep. But so he was like, oh, there's this guy. He's trying to produce he's trying to produce a show for HBO that's like for Latin comedians, and he was like, he wants to do stand up in English, stand up in Spanish, like the whole thing. And I was like, sure, I'll do with it. I'll do it. I'll do whatever. And then so I did the cold open for the shooting of the pilot like 5 years ago, and and just like a ballsy bitch, I did new material. Like you're definitely not supposed to do that when you're opening a show. Like, and whatever, and it went really well, and I met some of the HBO people, and this producer Edwin liked me. Edwin and Victor are the two producers that are basically they run this whole project, right?
Gotcha. Okay.
And then it was like a show that was on HBO Latino, and then it kind of morphed into got bigger. Like they actually big picture were they're the perfect kind of guys that I would fuck with, in the sense that they weren't like all Latin comedians be like this. You know what I'm saying? Like they were actually progressive in the diversity of thought. Like just like when people learned, like for instance about Ron Funches. Oh shit, there's black nerds out there. They're not all dressed like fucking.
All right, just gonna reiterate, we cannot cuss on the radio because I'm up to 10 now.
It's fine.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, she's riffing.
I'm sorry. I am.
It's not like I was running the special. I'd be like, "Where's your hat? Where's your cowboy hat? Where's your boots? Your boarding boots?" Like, I have no idea.
Where's your sombrero? You're like, I'm not even Mexican.
I'm like, we got burritos on stage.
What style of accordion music do you like to walk out to?
Yeah, exactly. Where's the tuba? I can pull out the tuba. So I loved that, and so then it's kind of morphed into like something that was like Latin centric specifically, to now he's just like, he's produced people's half hours, produced people's hours, and it's like they're all Latin, but they're all very different from each other, and it's really cool. So they were like, it was actually kind of random last year when I went to Los Angeles to kind of try to like, I've been trying to orchestrate my place to live over there for like 8 months. It's been like such a grueling process.
It's gotta be so hard.
But while I was there, I was hosting at the Improv while I was there, because at the Hollywood Improv, because they mess with me, and afterwards this dude comes up to me and he was like, "Carmen?" And I was like, "Yes." And he's like, "Why haven't we made something with you?" And I was like, "First of all, hi. Who are you?"
Yeah. He could be anybody for saying that.
Exactly.
Like, what, are you going to steal my legs?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I don't know what's happening. Why have we made a lamp with her legs? I'm a psychopath.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I'm glad that's the first place you went. I think that's why I travel more than you do. It's because I don't immediately think everyone's going to murder me.
I hang out with Sam. It rubs off on me, and we are paranoid, man.
Woo! It's good you guys can feed off each other's anxiety. That's beautiful.
Great.
Especially when Tom's not here. It's Google Fest coming to get us.
It turns out that was Victor. That was one of the producers that he was like, "Oh my God, like, why aren't we working with you?" And I was like, "I don't know. I'm right here, dude. Like, why not? I don't know."
So
then,
I'm pretty sure that's your fault. because I want money. And I want to be on HBO. I've always wanted to be on HBO. You knew that, so it's your fault. You're not working with me.
Right. So I wasn't that mean, but I was much more polite about it. But essentially, yeah. So it was like, sure. And so then it turned into, he was like, okay, we have the next session of Anthenos coming up. We want to work with you if you're open to it. And he's like, we're gonna film in a few months. Would you be able to film? And I was like, yes, I've been preparing for this for a long time. I totally have it. So then like a few months later, I was cut to me. I'm in New York City at the Chelsea Music Hall, and we're filming it. And it went great. I mean, the filming itself went great, but I mean, the week leading up to it was a nightmare. It was quite literally like an Uncut Gems film.
Yeah,
really.
And plug your podcast real quick, because there's a version of this. If you want the version that I listened to originally, and we're gonna kind of clip notes it a bit, but it's a tale, man. Like it will make you feel like
I can't do the whole thing. I'll give you the cliff notes because we don't have the time for it.
Listen to Carmen's podcast.
Here's what when I was listening to it, and I want you to get into a little bit of that, and plug your podcast first.
Oh, it's called No Sorry, I Don't Like It. It's anywhere you get podcasts at all. The name of that episode, it's me and my friend Katie Hughes. We did I flew her out, and she came and was like, because I wanted somebody to be there with me through all this,
Yeah, you need like a side person there to
a person that's sane that goes, this is you freaking out, or you should genuinely be freaking out.
a helper. You know,
Yeah.
like would it have been completely different vibe had you not had an assist
I
on
think
the
so.
emotional side of
For
it?
sure.
Yeah.
Because she was definitely like an anchor. She's also very logical and super funny. So whenever I'd be like being ultra serious and like freaking out, she would make fun of me and then I would feel better. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that's right. None of this matters. We're all going to die. You know?
So I'm curious, and then we'll get into like all the calamity that happened before. But when you film a special like this, like I know just from what I've seen that sometimes, like obviously you film it in front of multiple crowds, you wear the same outfit so you could at least that's what I put together from like watching other people's specials.
I think there's different ways to do
Yeah.
it.
And then like
It all varies.
Yeah, and then like the crowd is also like important to the comedian of like I want to make sure the crowd's good, right? So like, did you have any control of any of that?
I mean, the cool thing about these producers specifically is they let you be as hands-on as you want to be. And since I am like very much a control freak in that regard, they let me be involved in a lot of that. So like he would have conversations with me about that. And I was just like, but they did it right without me having to touch on that part of it, in that it was a taping. If you wanted to go, you could come. But it wasn't paid audience, because a lot of these specials suck because the audience is paid to be there. So they're like, oh, I'm supposed to laugh. Ha 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 ha. You know, it's just not
I
genuine.
did not know that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm also this guy. Like, if you're a magician, I don't go and I'm going to your show. I don't Google it. You know, like I don't figure out
why
what.
would you?
It's just going to ruin it for me. So when I watch
Enjoy
it,
the actual
yeah,
show.
when I watch most anything, like I've never really thought. Of course, they pay people to do that, but I've never even thought that they would pay people to go to a thing.
Is it because they want to guarantee the laugh when they want it, and like so they don't have to redo it in case the audience is bad, or like why?
I think it's just to guarantee that there will be people there. But this was sold out almost immediately. So it was like, it was never even a thing that we needed to do.
Because it's got a thing. It's known. People already know it's successful and it's quality.
And
wow.
And you want people to
That actually
want
gives
to
me
be there,
anxiety,
right? Like the crowd that wants and is paying to be there is going to be a better crowd.
Yes, without
Right,
question.
yeah.
Mhm. So I got lucky in that regard too. And then they also did like a little bit of an open bar as well.
Hey
You know,
now.
so
Yeah.
he wanted it to be like a fun party vibe, and because he was like we were thinking of, because he was talking about the venues, like that was so cool about him specifically. Because a lot of producers, you just show up, you have to do your job and leave. But he was like telling me what he thought about it, and he wanted to know my thoughts about it, like all of this. He's like, I want it to be kind of intimate. He's like, especially like the way that you do. And I was like, oh no, yes, I don't want a theater vibe by any means. I would love it to be like a club feel. So he was like, well, this is like in a basement, and I was like, perfect. I was like, that's my vibe all day. You know, that's perfect for me. So it was. I think we had about 80 to 100 people in this music hall that was rad, and we had open bar, and they'd filmed a bunch of B-roll and stuff like that, so I got to meet the guys that were filming it.
Oh, that's
and
good.
And talk to those guys about it, and of course what always makes it better is Brendan, one of the dudes one of the dudes that's filming it is a huge comedy fan, so he's watched copious amounts of stand-up specials.
He
and
knows
stuff.
the way it's supposed to look.
Right.
Yeah.
And knows, like, you know, he knows about the cut, like if you're doing a facial expression, not to cut away from it. Because I've seen people do that in specials where I was like, oh, this could have looked way better if you would have been thoughtful about this, or like listened, watched the show yourself, and then put it together.
Because even a facial expression can be a tag, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Or maybe more importantly, a massive tag. I mean, like even what you're doing right now with just eyebrows up, eyes big. It's like that's important, you know. Like,
well, I was curious too.
Interesting,
that do you give them like, because I've seen in certain stand-up specials, like it's apparent that they told the producers like, hey, during this joke, zoom in on my face, or like I'm doing a more of a, like I'm using my hands a lot, or like I imagine that the comedian.
I think that's the editor's job.
Well, but the comedian probably has to give the cameraman a heads up of like, hey, during this bit, like, does that happen?
How does that work?
No. I mean, if you're doing like an hour, like, cause this isn't an hour. If you're doing an hour and it's your special, I imagine you would have more say so in that. But in something smaller like this, like those Comedy Central presents, none of those comedians had a say in how, because some of them were cut so horribly,
Right.
where they stopped in the middle of a sentence or a middle of a tag. Like you didn't even get the punchline. You just just cut the premise to then the tag. So now it looks like the joke is weaker than it is, you know?
God, that would be infuriating.
It
Because
is
like all you guys
infuriating.
are is jokes, right?
Yes.
I mean, like, I don't mean that in a
don't
negative sense. I mean that from a good sense. And it's like, you're taking the only thing that I did and you're ruining
You're making it
Yes.
look bad. Yeah.
Well, that sounds like old, because like Comedy Central probably more aligns itself with like old school Clear Channel, and what I mean by
it's
is
a
like
massive
a giant
entity.
media
Yeah.
company that doesn't care, and then it gets to the editors, and the editors
Yeah,
don't
they're
care,
just
and they're just
pumping it out,
and
yeah.
they're like, you're ruining it. Like, why?
Pretty much, yes.
You
I spent 2 years on those
Dude,
jokes.
that's the other reason why I like streaming services like Netflix and HBO and stuff like that. I like that what they're doing more because you get to care.
And
you know,
they want the downloads, and they can tell how long people watch. And so if people are turning it off, it's bad for them and bad for the producers. Like back in the day, you couldn't tell. You just put it out. No one could even tell who was watching
Yep.
it because it's all Arbitron and BS numbers.
it's all fake.
You know, so
It's crazy.
So the guys actually cared and knew what they were doing.
yeah. So it was nice to work with people that cared and that liked what I did. So it's you know liked me because he saw me do sets, you know, that whole week. Because I was doing so I wanted to do sets in New York before I'd filmed because I hadn't performed in New York in like, you know, again, probably 2 years. Yeah, because it was the March right before the pandemic was the last time I was in New York. So
what
it
was that like? I mean, going back to New York, I mean, like
It was just
obviously
like-
different vibe with people.
Of course, yeah. Well, I mean, I'm pretty assertive, so that place feels fine to me. Like it's
Yeah.
not scary how it would be to maybe some other people. But it's I like it. I like that because then it's also pressure, and I like pressure. So
There's certain thing. There's one thing that sticks out in your of the audience in your special that you'll see her on the right hand side when you're watching Carmen. I believe it appears to be like a skinnier black lady who will lift her hand up to accentuate what you're saying, and she snaps. Have you seen her?
yeah,
The snapping lady?
yeah. I saw
Why
it.
is she snapping?
I don't know, but it's cool. Like I was like, I need to start snapping more.
That's a new thing where when you agree with somebody. That it's like it's an old school
It's like
slam
beatnik,
poetry
yeah.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
like a beatnik.
But now people do
Yeah.
it. People do it when they're like,
But she
yes.
does it like this. Watch my hand. It's not just snapping. She does. It's like you
Like a
gotta like
pageantry.
you put
yeah,
a
just
little.
a little bit a little
and
bit
I
more
loved it. I was like,
flamboyant.
that's a good point. I'm gonna steal the snap thing. But it was a very New York thing to me. Like I looked at that, and I'm like, all right.
That's everywhere.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm an old man. I don't
It's
know.
okay.
I
I'm
was
just
like,
letting you know.
the kids are gonna be like, "That snapping's old, Grandpa."
In Florida, you sneeze your teeth out. Sorry.
What would you say?
Am I doing better on not cussing?
No, you're doing great.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're doing fine.
Sorry, I got loose. I missed
Yeah,
you guys.
it's fine.
No,
We
it's
missed you
fine.
too.
Free everyone.
I was letting him fly, and I'm like, all right. She
All right,
completely
she's gonna-
forgot.
Yeah, I did.
Well, so
2 seconds ago, you told me.
So leading up to this special, what were the things that were happening?
It was like several things in a row, and like all I wanted to do was to find like my zen moment to be like, this is gonna be okay, and kind of get myself in a place where so I could perform the best I possibly could in an uncomfortable situation, so to speak, right? And it was just so many little things just kept like things that were out of my control, things that had nothing to do with me, things that weren't my job that I started picking up and doing, you know what I'm saying? Like it was just like this was people who were trying to make something that's already kind of uncomfortable and vulnerable, like just being catty or mean or something like that, and it's just like excuse, I didn't
Right.
Yeah.
Fine.
No,
You
you
can
can
say
say
that
bitch,
one.
yeah.
That was okay.
Tell us about
Of course,
the bitch.
of course,
Yeah,
And it's like, bitch, aren't you like? Why are you making this harder?
Yeah.
You know. And it was like one of the art directors during the photo shoot, and then I was like, okay, and then it would just be like, you know, this fell through, and so then we're gonna have to fix this, and like the dress that I wore.
Okay, this
okay.
part is the part of the story that you know me and you know my anxiety. When I was listening to your podcast, you started talking about this. I started to flip out.
It was I'd hired a stylist because they gave me a little bit of budget to wear whatever you want. So I was like, oh fuck yeah.
That's fine. No, it's fine. It's fine. Perfect.
So where do you even get a stylist? Like I honestly wouldn't even know where to go.
Oh, we know.
yeah.
I
We're
would
looking
search
at you right now.
I would go to Google and search stylist near me.
Your balls are about to fall out of your shorts, and you got your leg hiked way up.
Why are you
in
looking?
I think I might be the only person in this room that hasn't seen your nuts anyway. So this is exciting for me.
balls out?
He had his leg this high.
Oh,
Pointing it directly at Carmen. That is harassment, sir.
She's
It's a power move.
She's sitting on a couch. I can't help it. Sorry.
It's called the white man way. So the dress.
So then she sent me like a bunch of things, and I got to pick out the stuff that I wanted essentially. Which I was like, because she was trying to figure out like what my brand is and stuff like that. What do you want to look? And I was just like, it's kind of like a combination of like urban and kind of edgy and like a gothy, maybe kind of sent like a head nod to that, like. So it was, so she figured she got all these things put together, and I was just like, oh, this is great. This is it. Because like what I wanted to wear, the only thing I was definite that I wanted to wear, and it was not like I wasn't budging on, is I had these Basquiat Doc Marten boots that I wanted to wear, and I was like, I want to build it from there, because he's an incredible artist, and they just started putting his stuff out on other things, like cool. on things. So I was just like, this is because it's art, and that's what I believe that what I'm doing is art, and so I want it to be like a symbol, whatever. It was like a silly thing for me.
It's your power statement piece. On your big night.
Yeah. It was just like a thing. It was just like sometimes you need something for you to feel confident or whatever, and that was like my one thing. I was like, I want to wear these really cool boots, and that's it. And then so we built up from there, and so this really cool dress she had planned for me and everything, and she was originally she thought I was in Los Angeles, but I was in Florida at the time, so she was like had all this stuff in Los Angeles ready for me to take with me, and I was like, oh, I'm not there. And she's like, oh my god, then I have to ship this to you. And I was like, well, why don't I just use some of the budget to fly you to New York, and you come and just style me there, because I'm going to have to do photo shoots and all that stuff. Awesome. So since she was going to have to be there anyways, because she styles another funny comedian friend of mine, Jenny Zagrino. That's how I found out. I don't know a lot of stylists, but I know I've seen her work and I like it.
Jenny
she styles a couple.
Write that down.
Yeah,
We'll get
Jenny
you a stylist.
Zagrino's rad. Yeah.
We'll get you a stylist, buddy.
Well, that's a comedian. The name of the stylist is Kat Eves. She does men and women too. She's really good. But I have other stylists that I know now that I could recommend to you if you genuinely wanted to do it. It's not cheap.
No,
it's not cheap, but know
that. I can't even wear shoes, Carmen.
I noticed. But so she the dress, she was like, okay, well then I'll just have everything shipped to New York and it'll be great, Then she comes out there. She had never told. She forgot to tell that particular store with the dress for the special, because all the other clothes that she brought for the photo shoots and everything else showed up, but the dress for the actual taping was still in Los Angeles. Like they left it in Los Angeles. It was never shipped out. So it's like so then.
So this is like her. This is what she needs to.
Yes.
This is like, and all I could think of, not to make it about us, but as I'm listening to this, I was like, this is so one of our events. It's not even funny.
Yes.
Everything we ever go to do, there's always like the one big thing we need. It's not there. Mm-hmm. And then I play the role of Carmen in that I need my friend Katie to help me calm down while I'm crying. I'm crying.
Yeah. Like you're about to
stupid. It's just not
film
fair.
now it's HBO special.
Yes, it's a week of little things going wrong and me like being whatever. It's fine. It's gonna be fine. But this was after all of the things going wrong. Me losing my phone. Me getting a needle in my foot.
Oh, this is on the
podcast.
Yeah. It was just like a lot of things where at this point I was just like,
some guy was tending to you and you were bleeding everywhere. And then he was like pulling out the needle. It was like there's a whole thing.
But he was like a 23. He was the son of the producer, Edwin. He was trying to like a 23-year-old kid who's never had to deal with anything like this. So I have to be the calm one because he's freaking out.
Yeah, she's walking him through like performing surgery on a foot, right?
Yeah. Because he was just like, I don't want to hurt you. I'm like, it's gonna hurt. You need to get over that.
Yeah.
This is all the stuff you haven't heard that led up to the dress not being. The dress is what, 3,000 miles away.
Yeah. So, anyways, what ends up happening is they ship a dress. It is the wrong dress. Now it's like a floor-length weird. I was like, I look like a hippie.
Yeah, because little people, no offense, me and you, we look great in floor-length things.
Yeah, exactly.
We look awesome when you make them longer.
Like a handmaid's tale.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Why?
Make them think I don't even have legs.
Yeah,
perfect.
Exactly.
Yes.
I feel like it should be the most important thing that people remember to bring.
Number one.
Number one. The one thing you are wearing for the special. Like, I can understand forgetting the other ancillary things, like the photo shoot stuff or like any of the stuff that's like less. But like the one necessity, the main important stylistic thing that Carmen needs is the dress.
Is
for
the
your
dress
special.
for the thing. Yeah.
How does that? get forgotten.
Also, like to
Well,
Look
they
at me, she's
forgot and
shipping
they
a
sent
bunch.
the
She's
wrong
shipping a
one.
bunch of things. Yeah, and then
That's
she did
true.
like that. She did ask for them to ship it, and then they just shipped the wrong dress too. So then I have this weird floor length hippie looking, and she can see on my face like I'm livid. I'm not being mean to anyone. That's the other thing too is I'm not being that person where everybody has to deal with the fact that things aren't going right. Like I'm not doing that either.
Like
So it's also
diva
me
out or
yeah, exactly.
freak
I
out.
Suppressing
refuse
your
to be- I
anger.
refuse to be that person.
Did you at all reach a point, because like I know I would, did you reach a point of just like almost like disappointment exhaustion where you're just like, I can't really be mean to anybody or yell at anybody because I'm just too tired.
Sure.
Or I'm too...
Yeah, that was me in the stairwell.
I'm just sad.
I think I was on the phone with Larry crying because Katie had went to go get us bagels or something, and I was just like, I think I might just say I might just say forget this. Like I don't do it. Just forget it. I don't even care.
Can you
Yeah,
believe
like
that?
I don't want.
I could die in Paducah, Kentucky doing stand up for 25 people at a time. I don't care. Like I don't need this is just too much.
Yeah, because for someone
I
that's
just don't want
not
to deal with
very
it.
like strong-willed, that'll make you quit. You're just like, this is too much.
Now-
Like, too many. Maybe this is a sign not to do it. There's so much going
Oh,
wrong.
I'm sure this has happened to
Oh, yeah.
other lesser strong comedians that said that's that, and that was the last day.
Carmen,
And now I own a farm, or
Yeah.
I don't know what they do, but you know,
Exactly.
you're an even keeled person, and you're not gonna, like you said,
Except
diva,
in a relationship.
or
Yes.
diva out on someone and start screaming at the person or whatever, because you don't. It's not your personality. But it makes me think the people that do that and have the reputation of doing that, like an Ellen or something, like I bet no one forgets Ellen's dress because they're all scared of her. Like, you know,
That's true,
and then
yeah.
then I'm like, well, now I don't know what she's dealt with, and like maybe she's like that because so many people screwed up in the
Absolutely.
past.
I
that they-
definitely believe
they,
that.
they just start yelling, like Tom Cruise yelling on the set about, you know,
I
like
mean, also,
all these people yelling, and like maybe that other people caused them to be like this.
well, I make a lot of Ellen jokes about her being mean and stuff, but also a woman and gay in that world in entertainment, I think is a lot harder just by any means. So
because
but also at some point you're a rich person. Chill
Right.
out. You're fine.
Yeah, that's
You know?
true.
Yeah.
So it's like that's the whole thing. Is like this was a really cool thing happening to me. It's you know if things happen and I was trying to like be in that space where it's everything's fine. It's gonna be fine, you know. And but when the wrong dress showed up the day I'm supposed to be filming, I was just like, yeah.
Am I being punked right now?
Come on.
Isn't that where in cartoons they make the person go?
they go crazy.
Where they laugh. Yeah.
So because also it's not like you like say this was just a photo shoot. You're like, well, you can maybe get through it in a photo shoot because you're performing a stand-up special. You know what I'm saying?
For
it's not-
HBO,
like,
yeah.
This is not like this is you have to have the right mindset getting on stage. Like you can't be distracted by things. You can't be thrown off.
Well,
you gotta
too
be
late.
comfortable.
She already is.
like because that's what I would think. I mean, like,
Pardon me, I don't mean to distract you, but you don't have anything to wear.
Yeah.
like there's a
You're
reason.
driving to
why-
Ross.
Then
trying to get a
I didn't have the
picture.
hair. That was the other thing too. Is like because it was me and two other dudes that were filming, and the hair person fell through, got COVID. So like, and that was the day before as well.
And your whole take on dudes and how they get ready for stand-up is so spot on.
yeah, they just go, oh yeah, I got a haircut yesterday. I'm good.
Yeah, I just got my leather jacket.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, leather jacket and a haircut.
Yeah.
So
You're good.
So did you go?
That's not fair.
Did you perform in the dress, the wrong dress?
No, this is how rad this stylist was. She saw it. She was like, "Do you like this?" And I said, "No, I hate it." And she goes, "Okay." She goes, "We'll fix it, and we'll fix it before showtime. Don't even worry about it." And then I was like,
Yeah, you started
This is
out.
a day
Laughing.
of?
"Yeah, day of." And so then,
I'm like, how
so
are you
she-
supposed to turn this into the dress I want? We're Cinderella?
She hired a seamstress. She knew a seamstress in New York City, and so she came to the hotel and she showed me, and she was just like, what kind of dress? And she like we talked about the kind of dress that I would like. You know, I was like, I want movement. If I want to be able to move around, like I don't want it to catch on anything. I want it to be like tight on the tits and then loose everywhere else.
Tom
like,
doesn't believe in seamstresses, by the way. Like what you're describing is like a fairy flew down
Well, I
and
don't
deconstructed the
understand
dress.
how-
I mean, that's essentially what she
Yeah,
was.
yeah.
She did it. And then because I saw the video after the fact, she basically she took the dress apart and then remade me a new dress.
Isn't that nuts?
It is crazy.
I would keep
So
that
now I'm
dress
always
for the
just like
rest of my life.
I did.
man,
I
because
do.
It's got
I've
good
worked-
energy.
It
in
really does. Because it was like it ended up everything all came out at the. She showed up they started letting people in at 6 p.m. She showed up at 6:15 with that dress, and I put it on, and it fit me like a glove, and it was rad, and it was perfect, and I was like, thank you.
Which is also
That's unbelievable.
That's also
That
a
is.
distraction, though. Is
Yeah,
ultimate
yeah.
like positivity and
Yeah.
happy crying.
Yeah.
You know, this is too much.
Thank
There's
you.
too many emotions.
Yeah,
man.
it's a lot. It's a lot to handle at the same
It
time.
really is. And the idea that, and this is why I've been saying that for like, I'm 5'2". Getting your clothes tailored is an important thing. Having a tailor as a man, as a woman, having a seamstress, this is important stuff. Out of all the things, like being a chef is important to me, but I wish that I knew how to tailor clothing. It's an actual skill that is underappreciated to me. Like
that happened. Like, I went to a wedding and I had this dress and I was just like, oh, it's probably too long. It's too long. I got to get it trimmed, the bottom of it cut off or whatever. So I take it to a seamstress and she pinned up all of these other places that I didn't even know. And she's like, oh, I'm going to fix all of this too, because this is a little too big here.
Yeah.
And this is like, and I was just like, and then I put that dress on and I was like, this is a completely different dress.
Right.
This is an amazing garment now.
Yeah,
all of a sudden.
Like
Yeah.
custom fitting makes a huge difference.
Yeah, it's just
too.
like you see a dude in a suit, like at church on something, you are like, that's obviously off the rack. And then you see a dude
Oh,
that has a
big baggy.
tailored suit. And it's just like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, wow. I think every man should have three things: a rad watch, a therapy, and a tailor-made suit for them.
I like my men's dress shirts like a brown paper bag lunch squished up with lines. When I tuck it in, it's so billowy.
You know why you get squished around here? Because your pants are too tight.
Yeah.
Your pants are too tight and that beer
You
belly
gotta
is...
stop using zip ties as a belt.
So when she gave you the new tailored dress, like how long before you get on stage and film your
40
special?
minutes?
That's
wow.
nuts. That's nuts.
So then how do you get in the mindset, Carmen, of like all this stress and then you got to get out there and perform and you only get one shot, right?
Well, during
Eminem.
because that was the other thing too, is the whole time, and I don't think I'm supposed to have this kind of relationship with the producer, but I definitely did.
now.
I called him, and I don't mean like
No,
that,
I
but I
know,
just
I know
mean
you
like I was just unapologetically honest with him, and I was telling him like all of this stuff is kind of like blocking my ability for me to be able to do a good job. So then like the day of, after the whole dress scenario and after the whole like there is no stylist and all that stuff, and I was telling him, I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, this is ridiculous, and I shouldn't have to deal with this. And he's like, you're right, you shouldn't have to do this. None of this is your fault. You shouldn't. So he's like, I want you to go and turn off your phone, and he goes, and just be by yourself and silent for a couple of hours. And he was like, do whatever it is you need to do to relax and do that. And he goes, and don't talk to anybody. And he's like, I know call time is at 4. If you don't want to be there at 4, don't. Come at 5. Come at 5. Give yourself an extra hour or whatever. And I did. I laid there with the AC blowing on my face, and I put a face mask on, and I went through the whole thing. And I was just like, oh, none of this matters. Again, none of this matters. We're all going to die. And so what do I want to do? How do I want to envision? Because I was like, everybody that I talked to that had done this and it went well, like, and it looked good and stuff,
Yeah.
they all said the same thing. They all just like, I took a minute and envisioned it going well. And I thought about it, and I, it was almost like a daydream. I daydreamed about it all working out and it all going smoothly, and how I would look doing it and how it would feel doing it and all of that stuff. And then I just kind of got myself back in that space right before I went up,
And
It comes off very confident. Like and I like the way it opens. It opens cold, man. It's just like, boom, here's some stand-up.
Yeah.
And I like that. I like it when they just roll it right into it. And you come off Sam and I both said that. You're very confident, and I like that. It was very good. I was very proud of you. It was awesome.
Because we did 2 shows, and the first show, Katie liked the first show better because she was like, you were surgical. There was no but the second show, I was already like, well, I think I did, because, Katie was already in my ear. She's like, oh, you're done. So the second show, I had a couple cocktails, and I was way more loose. So then the producers like that, because they're like, that's how you normally are, was the second show. But the
Okay.
first show, I was way more like...
in your head about
professional.
it.
Professional. I was way
yeah.
more professional. I don't know if it was I was in my head because I was still doing, but I was definitely... I was looser in the second show.
The surgical analogy I got is like you knew all the beats, you knew your act, and you
And I
hit
hit
it
them all.
100%, and then you let it. It's
But the
kinda
second show, I had fun, which was the difference, and that was why the producer was like, "I used the second show because you were fun. You were genuinely having fun."
How loose are they or tight are they on? Will they give you the first show if you want it? Would they give you that just so you can
It
have
depends on the producer. It depends on who you're working with.
Because it would be cool
depending
if
on
they would at least let you have it. I mean, you're not going to be making money off of it or putting
Right.
it out there
And
on
I
your
think-
streaming service.
I
but-
think it goes back to like if I was doing an hour and it was mine or whatever, like because that's the other thing too is like I don't own it. I don't own this, so that's different.
Right.
Yeah, it's HBO's property, and I'm curious. Do they?
Well, they have it for a couple of years. They have it for 2 years.
Okay. Do they give you any idea of how many people are gonna see this? Like, do they even give you a hint of like, it's like a lot of people are watching, or no, not like you get no.
I don't think they know. How are they going to know how many people watch it?
Well, I imagine through like streaming, they got numbers.
They should
right?
be able to
But they
dial
would
that out.
after the fact. Oh, you mean like if they're going to update me with how good?
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
doing?
I'm curious
Oh.
if they even
Not
let
that I know of.
the the talent know how it's doing. I would be curious about like if you filmed the special and like, well, how many people watched it?
Well, my corporation
Most people
senses
don't.
are saying that they're going to not care.
Yeah,
like
they're not,
like,
not only that,
to
but
tell
they're not going to tell you. It's information. Why would they give you that
Yeah,
information? Then you
yeah.
have leverage against them to work with them in the future.
Yeah, yeah, I
So
guess
for
you're right.
instance, like if you did a Netflix special, you don't know how it did. You just know whether they will work with you again or not, and that's going to be the indicator of how well
Gotcha.
it did. you
I
know?
just thought like maybe the producer was cool, or like someone would be like, "Oh yeah, dude, real good." Like just some sort of
Yeah, like the time we sold tickets for Universal Studios, and they came to us and said, "Hey, we're not supposed to tell you this, but
You're
you
just
guys
some-
crushed it." And we're like, "Really?" You know? And then they stopped answering.
Was there anything different about like filming this than a regular like set you would do? Like, do they stop it at all? Do you like? Is
That
there
was
any
what I was gonna
production,
ask, yeah.
or is it just they film it as it went and as your stage show goes, and that's it?
I think if you're doing a taping, you do have that freedom a lot of times.
Like you could stop it and be like, stop, then start it again.
For instance,
You're
there
too
was,
ugly for my special.
Yeah, get out.
Have him removed.
Pretty people to the front.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there is things that, like, for instance, the cord fell, like, and during Alfred's set, the cord fell out of the mic and stuff. So they had to, like, and he didn't realize it. So he was performing with no sound. So they had to restart his, you know? So yeah. So then it was like,
Oh, that sounds like a nightmare.
yeah,
Like,
of course. Yeah. Especially if you were doing well, you know?
Yeah,
which
it
he
happens in
was.
here. I'll do some stupid parody thing that you hate, and
I don't hate
I'll be
it.
doing some dumb impression. I'll look over. I didn't even hit record, and I'm
Oh,
like,
right.
your whole life sucks. Go home, and I'll just go home.
Well, because then you're gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna do this again.
It's never the same.
Have the same energy,
No.
crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have to ask them. I mean, and then, like, the beauty of editing is you can recreate it. You can. So that's the other thing too. As long as you do the same
Because
thing,
you can take the
give them-
audio from the first laugh and then edit it in.
And a
right?
lot of time that endears you to an audience because then they're like, "Oh, this is real. This is
yeah,
happening
yeah.
in real. This
True.
isn't
Human.
This isn't
There's
meant-
a human up there.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's a real person. So
What? So after this, I mean, you put this out there. It's out now. Everybody can go and see it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously, you don't stop there. I mean, what are you working on now? What's new?
well,
you're back in LA full time now.
I am.
A comedy store still working.
Yeah, I'm not working the door, but I'm still in development with them, so that's cool. So I get to go up, which is really nice. Yeah, everybody's kind of been cool. Like I'm not really certain. Like what I mean, I think that's the whole thing is we're supposed to kind of see how well it does and see what I get out of it. You know, as far as like social media numbers and all that and all the other, you know, how if it like helps me with ticket sales and stuff like that. Like
I think it should. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, I hope so.
That-
So
It's front and center. You type in comedy, it's the first thing that comes out, unless
that's
everybody's algorithm is different. Like when I went there this morning, it was
Yeah.
the easiest thing to find.
Okay,
so
good.
That was great.
You start thinking about like that's why I asked you about the numbers because like especially because HBO like HBO I don't know how like if they're still in like every hotel across America, but that was a huge thing, right? Which I'm sure just carries on where every hotel across America
I
has
think it's still
HBO.
a thing. Yeah.
So then it's like now you have millions upon millions of people every day staying in a place that are watching HBO. Like I'm curious of like how many people are going to see the special
And on airplanes,
like over a million.
that's awesome.
For sure, right? And like that's an insane amount of humanity that gets to see you and hear your name and
Yeah.
see your comedy.
yeah, I
Like,
definitely
it's
haven't
crazy.
been thinking about it like that. But when you say it like that, it sounds really weird.
It's
No,
awesome,
it's-
though.
it's
I
a
think it's
gigantic-
amazing. Like, I just think it's so cool, you know? Like,
You know-
I know friends of mine, relatives that I know that know you from a show, know your appearances on here, and are now able to go and see you.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. I mean, they could have done YouTube or something, but now they can see you in like top tier, amazing HD quality,
well, that was what was
custom-made
cool
dress.
is I thought they were just going to put me on the streaming service, which is cool, but they also aired me on HBO as well.
Yeah.
It was like on May 6th at 10 p.m. and they aired me on actual HBO too.
That's
so
dope.
then it's also people who are just casually watching HBO that weren't, that's usually more of an older demographic that doesn't really mess with
still
streaming
carries
as much.
weight,
Yeah,
though.
yeah, it's still
but it's still gotta be millions, like
for sure.
like, worldwide and stuff like, and that's just an insane amount of humanity that gets exposed to you and you. Like,
it's crazy.
Yeah,
It's really neat.
That's
I'm
why
so
she
proud of
needed
you.
the right
man.
dress.
It's awesome.
yeah. And
Yeah, exactly. Look at the
Exactly.
dress. You better
would
like
look
it.
good.
It's a good dress. I like the jacket too.
Yeah.
I love the jacket.
The
Yeah.
did you keep the jacket?
Oh, yeah, I
you
kept
got-
everything.
Yeah, you got to keep the jacket. Don't be slapping her shoulders. You come back, you'll be losing your hand.
let's end with business.
Come on.
I'm curious, like, dude, like, what? I wonder, because now you have all this exposure, like, what is the call that could happen? Like, as any other, I'm sure you've talked to other comedians that have filmed specials and has been out and then can give you, like, oh, this may happen or this, or you may get more
Ultimately,
requests. I don't know.
This is big to somebody who's not, this is big to, like, well, I mean, still to me, but like us, this is a big deal.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
as far as industry wise, this is just a really good tape and a genuine, like, oh, she knows how to do stand up well and she's done it on HBO.
Yeah.
So it just legitimizes me as a stand up comedian.
Yeah.
So, and then potentially it could help me as far as like acting work and stuff like that if I wanted, because then that's like, she knows she can do characters or whatever. If you can see a little bit of that in there, like just stuff like that. That's really all it is.
Or just perform under the stress of having this happen, like, which a lot of
true.
people may fold and not perform, like, up to
Dude,
their,
it was even worse because like when it was originally supposed to come out April 1st.
Right.
And then such a cruel
maybe
April
the whole
Fool's
thing
joke.
was a test
Yeah.
to groom you to see if you could take the stress, like, send her the wrong dress now, send her, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes,
Make
now
the team.
she's ready for Nexium.
and if she can handle all this, then she can
Well, 'cause
handle
then when
anything.
it came out too, it was supposed to come out and it got pushed back, and then like the whole doing a lot of the press and stuff like that, like for all of this stuff, like through all that, my sister passed away too.
Oh,
so
I'm
it was
sorry.
like all that, and then it was like I also had like an audition for Netflix and an audition for all this other stuff. So it was like anything that's been like cool that's been happening to me has been surrounded by either stress, anxiety, or tragedy or whatever, and it's just like everything that's really cool that's happened has not been like, oh fuck yeah, oh yeah, it's great,
yeah,
oh yeah, it's
yeah.
so great.
Like, sounds too
to,
stressful,
Like you get
Carmen.
to enjoy it.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Carmen, just
Not
come
at
back
all.
to Florida. I'm just sorry,
You sound like my dad.
Just
Come back,
Old man alert.
Tommy, come back.
Come
You-
on.
sorry-
We love you so much.
Yeah.
You could drive the comedians there so easy.
Yeah, exactly.
You can just do the bull and bush.
Yeah.
I mean,
Exactly.
too much stress.
Yeah.
But Carmen, I'm so happy for your success.
Thanks, man. I'm really happy about it too.
Let's go.
It's awesome.
Let's slam those streaming numbers. Why don't we?
Yeah.
Just go fire it up. Check it out.
Yeah,
You will like it.
please.
You will very much enjoy it. Go see our friend Carmen, your friend too, and let's get those numbers
Yeah,
up. So
tag me in it. Take a picture. Tag me in it on the Instagram. I'll share it.
yeah, definitely do
'Cause
that.
It's amazing to see.
And just name of the special again so people know.
Entre nos.
Okay.
ENTRENOS. But again, if you go to, even if you just search my name, Carmen Morales, it'll come up.
Is it on HBO now? I still have my account. I don't know.
That's a thing still?
I don't know. I still have the app. I go on and I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
you just have things you need to throw away.
You still have the app.
it's now. It's better to go. All right. Bye-bye. Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Our producer Samantha's here. Hello, Sam.
Hi.
I feel like we haven't done this in a while.
No, it's weird. I don't even know where I put the buttons.
Let's
I
do
do
it.
it? All right.
Yeah.
Nerds. 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 Jock, nerd.
It's Nerd Jock with EJ. How you
going,
doing,
guys?
EJ?
Good. I had a good weekend. That's what I'm basically here to talk about mostly.
Your weekend?
Yeah, basically. It was mostly sports and stuff like that, and nerd stuff. Yeah.
We did get a very hateful voicemail from a person that thought we canceled Nerd Job.
I got fired. I did see that.
Yeah.
Also, someone was hating on you in the Facebook section on BDM group too.
When aren't they?
Me or
I don't
both of us?
I don't even look at that anymore.
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't care.
And I can't tell if they're joking or if they're trolling just to have fun. I can't tell.
The best
sometimes.
jokes are
Impossible to tell.
Yeah, right? The best jokes are the ones that are impossible to figure out, I've heard.
If you just think that everybody is just messing around, then it's a better way to live because that's
Yes,
how I
so,
think.
yeah.
And then no matter if they're serious or not, you're just like, they're just messing
You're
around.
fired.
They love me. I think it's a crazy narcissist thing to do. It's like everybody loves me. I can shoot someone in the streets and no one do anything.
Oh my god.
Anyway, so what do we got today?
You know what? Let's start off with jock stuff. Speaking of Miami, did you see what happened this weekend? How they had a F1 race, they had an NBA playoff game and an NHL playoff game on the same day in Miami.
I saw that was all going on, and I also saw like the amount of celebrities at the F1 race, which I didn't realize.
We had a lot of listeners there.
Yeah.
We had a lot of guys that live in Miami that
It goes
like
around the Hard Rock Stadium.
It looks
there.
awesome. It looks really fun.
Well, it's crazy because it's through the streets of downtown Miami. So, like, you got these F1 cars, like, going faster than you've ever seen a car go down, like, community streets or downtown streets or whatever. And it's like, this is insane. And I didn't realize how many celebrities actually, like, attended the event. It was kind of like the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah,
like,
it was the place to be that
like,
weekend.
Dwayne Wade
Yeah.
was there. And they're like, look at Dwayne Wade at the F1 race. And so it's like a spectacle to be seen
But
at.
don't
I
you
didn't
sort of
realize.
expect to see Dwayne Wade there?
Yes.
I never,
He's a Miami guy. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But I never thought like.
But Jordan was there as
F1
well. Yeah.
Yeah, Jordan. Like F1 racing, I didn't know was that popular among celebrities.
Well, yeah, because usually it's in European nations, and usually like Monaco and stuff like that. So
It's an
like,
Italian
Yeah,
thing,
it's more
right?
of a European racer. But the thing is, if you're a celebrity, you want to be globe trotting and worldwide. So yeah, you're going to go to these events that are in cool places. So.
Why do NASCAR guys like a NASCAR over F1?
You'd have to ask a NASCAR guy. I'm not really a NASCAR
Is
guy.
it because the car is something that they can buy? Is that the appeal? Like, these are cars.
Because they're stock cars, right? Because
Yeah, but they
they're
can't
just
buy 'em.
based
They're-
off of...
they're millions
Well,
and millions of
You
dollars.
understand what I mean, though. way beyond.
You understand
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah,
is that
yeah.
like, for the most part, you got a Malibu. He's driving a Malibu or whatever it is, a Lumina.
I think
Or Saturn.
Yeah, if you want to make it really old.
But I think that like the culture around it, like NASCAR's always been about like the party, beer, the race, like
Confederate flag.
Yeah,
Like
racing on the
RV,
beach.
And
alligator baby pool.
It used to be because they would bootleg and stuff like that. There's a reason.
Yeah,
that was the
yeah,
whole basis of
Sunburn,
NASCAR.
bad
yeah.
tattoos.
Yeah, and then like F1's always been about
I am
your-
French. I am Italian.
Like it's more upscale,
Like the Andretti's
fancy,
and all that stuff. Yeah,
like,
Porsche and all those guys.
You're sipping martinis, not having a tall boy.
You can be a
Budweiser.
big chungus and drive a NASCAR, but I don't think you can fit in
No.
an F1
no
car.
way you can fit in an F. I
Right,
couldn't
like
fit in an
Tony
F1 car
Stewart,
for sure.
no offense, but Tony Stewart is a bit of a beefy boy. He's a thick boy.
But isn't he short though?
I think
he's
he is,
shorter.
but he's a
like,
thick,
yeah.
but he's thick.
Yeah. He's a thick
He's
boy.
not
Yeah.
he's not slight.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
so like Tony Stewart could not or could fit in an F1. I don't think he could. I think he's a little too beefy.
Yeah, all the F1 drivers are
Or like
tiny
sized
Italian.
jockeys,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Speaking
yeah.
of Kentucky Derby, they're
Most
like
Italian men that drive F1, their feet are like a little ballerina, long and skinny, so they can touch the. They're touching that accelerator, but it's on the steering wheel.
Yeah,
Fast.
those things scare me. There's no way you get me in.
And they wear those tiny little
F1
shoes.
car.
The little Goodyear shoes.
Yeah.
and it does seem like so when you're at an F1 race in Miami.
Oh, they're tall. Apparently, they're tall but skinny.
So
Really?
Yeah.
if you're at like if
Yeah,
you're
but you can't be too skinny.
with the F1 driver.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were just saying that in general.
No,
I was
there's
like,
a
that's gonna piss
there's
a lot of
minimum
people
weight.
off.
That's
There's a
why there's
minimum
not a
weight,
lot of
really?
women that
Oh,
drive.
Really?
Yeah. There's a minimum weight of 176
See,
pounds.
that's something I never knew.
In NASCAR,
Wow.
they
They'll-
just
they'll
add
fly.
dumbbells.
Wait, what? A minimum weight for what?
To be a driver.
For F1?
Yeah.
It's 172 is the minimum.
176.
I can't drive.
I wonder if why not just add weight because they do it in NASCAR.
Yeah.
They'll just add weight to the car
I'll
to
just
make
wear
it
a
all
scuba
Well,
even.
you don't want to weigh the car down completely.
I'll just put a scuba
But I'm
belt
saying,
on.
if you're like 160 and you're not the minimum weight, just add 12 pounds to the seat. You know what I'm saying? It's the same as
I
it
don't
if
know,
you
it might
weigh
be
that.
regulated differently. I'd have
Yeah,
to
yeah,
ask
yeah. Weird.
my
The
F1
physics of it,
specialist
yeah.
Derek's not in the chat, so I don't know.
Crazy.
But also, like when you're if you're a celebrity at like a NASCAR event in like the like a press box or whatever, like I know you can see the cars going around the whole track, but you're in an F1 race. If you're, it's like, and then that's all you know.
You know what?
That's pretty
For
accurate.
A split effing second, I was like, Michael Winslow's here. That's the single greatest impression. I swear to God, Melissa, I've never done
Flip
this.
that.
Melissa, you got to pull that because that's holy crap. That was Rich.
You're like the second best Michael Winslow of Orlando.
You were like Rich Little, Steve Travolino, whatever that guy's name.
But I'm just saying, like, so then
Wow.
you're like, oh, well, now you're like what are you watching? What are you watching?
Don't veto it.
Don't you act like you can't do it now. Did you see that? He tried to play it off like he couldn't do it.
No.
Do the one you just
Next he's
did.
gonna be doing parody songs.
Do the one you did. I swear to God, it was like I was there. I thought I was in
come
Monaco.
On, come on.
He'll never do it again.
It was that was amazing.
That was pretty good.
I
I was
that,
impressed.
EJ. Thank
Yeah.
you for that.
It's like you can't watch it that much, like because
No, you can't see the entire
Right,
track.
Yeah, you're usually watching the monitors
No,
most
the
of the time.
track,
Yeah.
the
Not
track
that
is
good.
too big for you to see. It's the same reason that people like that. It's my favorite. Are these European races? It's the what is it? Where you're rally cars, where you're literally driving a tiny GTI, a Golf, a Volkswagen GTI that's got all these racing things on it, and you rock it into a crowd. And then
There's people in folding
and
chairs
they're-
right next to it.
And they're
Yeah.
just Italian men and women flying over the countryside, and you're just a sea of body parts.
What's even better than that is the Baja races in Mexico, where there's a sea of humanity standing on like a giant sand berm, and the Baja trucks are like, like jumping, landing in between. There's like, there's no like barriers.
No room
or
for
anything.
air.
There's kids and stuff
It's
like
nuts.
And then if they roll over or whatever, people just start stealing stuff off the trucks. Anyway, what's
They
what's
get
the
a
next
cooler and
story?
stuff like. Okay, the next story I got is we got to talk about the NFL. Tom Brady
I
already
saw
got a
this.
job. Yeah, he's already has a job when he retires from the NFL. He's going to be the lead Fox analyst for the NFL. As soon as he retires, that's what he already had said.
I'm
Which
sure
makes
everybody that says, "I just wish he'd go away," is real happy about that.
oh no,
No,
I,
what-
I want him. I want to see if he's as good as Romo because Romo
No.
is really good at picking out the
He-
plays and being ahead of time.
He will be better with knowledge, but worse with personality.
You think?
Oh, I kind of agree with that. I definitely agree with that.
Yeah,
I was
Ro-
just talking about knowledge-wise. I think
Florida
he'll be
Tom
amazing.
seems pretty fun. Like
Yeah,
because when
he
he
does.
was when
He
he was
does.
Patriots, Tom Brady, like you never heard him talk that much. Like you definitely didn't see him getting drunk on a boat or
But
whatever.
I think he has to work.
Yeah, now he's getting carried off boats.
I think he has to work on it, though. I think that he has to work on it. Like Romo seems like naturally he's funny.
yeah.
Brady seems like he has to manually let a gate down in
Yeah, you
order
gotta
to
get him
do
drunk.
it.
Yeah.
and
This could be his downfall.
Well,
but
but
here's the one thing he's not good at.
Well, he starts drinking
No, it gets
to
too-
get loose,
yeah.
and then becomes an alcoholic.
well, here's what
Starts doing more Hurts
Big fat
commercials.
Brady.
Brady is so
I would love to see Fat Brady.
like see what Romo doesn't have. Like he could definitely call it a defensive. Like we all like watching or listening to Tony Romo because he'll call out. He'll be like, "Hey, they're doing this." Like they'll give
he
us
knows.
he'll give us inside knowledge that we don't normally don't get.
He's going to check down to the tight end in the flat.
But Brady's the best there ever was and probably ever will be.
He's got
right?
the most
At his-
knowledge,
at his- he's
Oh,
been
it's him
called
and
the
Peyton, I think. Like knowledge-wise, I would say it's a toss-up between those two.
I think I have
Maybe.
to. I have to finally do this. Sorry, but it's the guy that has the most rings. It's
Yeah.
Brady. He is the best.
yeah,
you
you're-
can't dispute it. He's the best.
See, I think that he had better defenses than Peyton Manning. That's the reason why he has some more rings. That's my judgment on
It's
that.
a good argument.
Yeah.
And you played the game.
Yeah.
But regardless, it has been universally agreed upon that Brady's the GOAT, and there's not much argument against it, that I've heard or whatever. It's
No,
like
you can't,
everybody's
yeah.
like, well, he is the best there's ever been. So, and like that will save him, even if his personality is not as good. I just want to hear from the best that's
Yeah.
ever done it.
Right,
You
there's
know what I'm saying?
value in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if he was like monotone and whatever he's saying, I'm interested in because it's coming from Brady. Now, I don't know if that'll wane.
But who's he getting paired up with, though? Is he going to be with Joe Buck?
He needs a good.
Just think about
color
that.
guy.
I'm just I wonder who he's going to be with, and that might be the problem.
Man, all these people saying they wish Brady'd go away. I wish Joe Buck would go away.
I agree.
Well, I'm okay with Brady. Brady's
Joe
fine.
Buck is good for baseball. When he does calling games for baseball, I don't mind Joe Buck.
I'm a euchre man.
I do like euchre.
I'm a euchre man.
Listen, I heard some, and this is probably conspiracy theory, but there is truth based on the whole
QAnon. I'm all in.
the whole
No.
agreement with Miami being
Birds aren't real.
ruined with Brian Flores announcing
That's a
a
mess.
lawsuit.
That's a mess.
But
Oh, yeah.
apparently, a lot of people believe that was going to happen. Brady was going to come to Miami, and it was going to be a whole thing. And then Sean Payton was going to be the coach, and this whole behind the scenes thing that Brian Flores' announcement of the lawsuit broke up. But still, I heard a podcast the other day. Some people still say there's still a possibility of Brady maybe playing his last year in Miami next
God.
year, if he was chose to do that. Just because of the team Miami has, I don't know. I'd be excited about it. Although,
Dude, who wouldn't be?
I wouldn't
40
be mad if Tommy Brady was playing.
46 years old.
Yeah.
But it seems like and that's what's weird to me. They still use other quarterbacks' age as I don't know about this guy Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan's 37. And I'm like, Brady's still playing at 44.
Right.
He's not magical. Matt Ryan's probably doing a little bit of what Brady's doing. You know what I'm saying? Brady's not a he's not magic. He's a human being. Now maybe he's got better genetics or whatever, but still other quarterbacks I imagine are doing what Brady's doing.
The league's changing too. There's
Is that a
also
secret?
more running quarterbacks. So now a pocket passer is a rarity. So you have to change your defense completely for that as well.
Yeah. And
Because
you're
most
not
of the time
getting
you're
hit.
worried about Josh Allen, Mahomes, all those guys, Lamar Jackson, all those guys. So
Yeah, and you're not getting hit anymore. So people are
Unless you're mobile.
Does your age matter at all?
I think it does.
It
I
does
think
a little
EJ
bit,
has a
yeah.
good point in if you're mobile. But back to your point, most of the people you're talking about, like Matt Ryan, I mean, he's okay, better than Brady, but not better than Brady in passing, better than Brady at running. But but
he's a pocket passer. He's going to sit in the pocket.
He's still a pocket passer
Yeah.
guy.
No, and I know your arm strength diminishes a little bit, but I don't know, but now I feels especially in the quarterback position, I'm not listening to anybody talking about someone's age if they're under Brady's age about whether or not they're going to lose it in 1 year. I mean, why would they lose it in 1 year?
Well, quarterback wise, yeah.
Besides from
every
injury.
other position, no.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Actually,
your age matters.
I think
yeah.
the exact
Yeah, a
opposite.
wide
with
receiver.
Matt
Yeah.
Ryan will be. I think he'll be happier. He'll be in a better situation.
Colts, yeah.
with better players. I think it's going to be good.
Better offensive line.
Yeah, I think he's going to be great. I hope he is.
I don't think his age matters as
No.
much as Brady proved it anyway.
Yeah. What else you got?
Okay, the last thing I got to talk about, I went to my son's jiu-jitsu tournament this weekend. It was down at the Silver Spurs. And it was kind of interesting to watch little kids wrestle.
Did they
and jiu-jitsu fights and stuff like that.
Did they leave the cow turds?
No. It was right next. It was at the convention center where usually the conventions are, and not at the Silver Spurs rodeo.
I performed there one time.
What a tarp
I know
man.
you did.
They're going to do their Japanese gay wrestling.
Oh man.
So how was that?
He got third place in both gi and non-gi, and Seth
What, they
Petrozelli was really
wrestle
nice.
nude?
No. It's
Seth
gi
was there?
was like a rash guard. He was supposed to be there, but I thought he had COVID, so I think they kept on calling out his gym the whole time we were there, which is kind of cool. Like the jungle. We needed a representative for the jungle, and I think Seth wasn't supposed to be there. It was supposed to be there. No, Seth was really nice. I asked him about the tournament, and he was really helpful.
Is he giving everybody COVID?
Was he going to send you a D-pic?
No, I do not want that. It's bad enough. Tom keeps on showing me his,
It's pretty impressive.
I can't wait until my sons win something. I'm gonna put that trophy up.
I think you're going to be waiting a while, buddy.
I know. But
What do you want them to win?
Yeah, aren't they,
Anything.
aren't they
Max,
swimming?
Max won a trophy for selling the most.
No, he didn't
Crap.
do anything. That was me.
No, Tom
That's
won a
my
trophy.
trophy.
It says Maximilian on
Yeah.
it.
Maximilian.
I'm gonna scratch out his name and put Tom Van the first or second. I forgot who I am. So
Dude,
were you proud of him?
You okay, bro?
Yeah, he did well. He didn't submit any time, so he was good on that. He just lost on points, so that was the only thing.
And he enjoys it. Like he's
The one kid that beat him, I think, was sandbagging, and he was going to a lower division. And he should have been a higher division, but
You need to bring that up. As a
It's
dad.
one of those things.
He's sandbagging.
It's one of those things where it's like he can't really say anything because it's like you don't know. He just.
Like he
it's
dropped
like a
down to
pregnant
the
lady.
My son was in beginners, which is like you less than 2 years in it. And I think the kid that he was going against has been doing it for like 4 or 5.
Gotcha. So
Was the kid? Did the kid look like Seth?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Well, I was about to say that's a step though. He goes,
These old men, 42-year-old.
Yeah.
Hey, me were excited to be a tournament. Me love Pokemon.
He beats up a fat dad. Amateur karate.
No wonder why he gave me good advice. He does this.
So what do we got for nerd?
Okay, for nerd stuff.
It's been a big week. For
yes,
nerd.
there's
Yeah.
been so much stuff
Yeah.
going on. Well,
It was a big week for Jock too.
yeah.
Now before
Well, I didn't really get into NBA playoffs or the NHL playoffs or
No.
the baseball.
Or
that was all that
UFC
good. Or
or
UFC.
hockey
That
or-
guy that got kicked in the face. That
Yeah,
was crazy.
yeah. Have
the
you seen
picture?
the-
Have you seen the picture yet for that?
It looks fake.
It's funny.
It looks so fake.
It's the funniest thing. And then
God, that's
everybody's
gonna
like,
follow that guy the rest of his life.
there's a post on the Medium page, and then the guy says, and I should be laughing.
So mean.
He's
He's like, oh yeah, he's like,
He's
his
like,
brain was
imagine
traumatized.
His brain is doing the same
The
thing.
soft
as his
tissue of his face and
I'm
soft
like-
tissue of his brain is doing the same thing.
I'm like, don't talk about it because this picture's too funny.
I'm like, I don't care about these people.
I was like, good Lord, he looks like
Well, that's what everybody thinks.
that
It's like
guy,
he's doing it. He knows the risk.
that guy
Does he,
got
though?
kicked into an old Vietnamese man. Like, and he kicked his face into an old Vietnamese
Yeah,
man.
put him to sleep for like 5 full minutes.
Wow.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah, I do
bad.
not
It
want
was
to.
bad.
No, I don't want to ever get kicked in the face like that guy.
It
Oh,
was
man.
just, oh man, rough.
And then Canelo lost in boxing too, so that was
Yeah.
another big thing. There's a lot of stuff that happened. I
Yeah.
just was trying to narrow it down to stuff I wanted to. I
All
know
right.
more about. So
Let's nerd it up.
okay, nerd stuff. Definitely got to talk about the new Doctor Who. Have you seen the character they
I
picked
did
for him?
see
Yes.
that.
I don't even want to try
What is
this
he in?
guy's
Sex
name.
Education,
He's in
right?
Sex Education,
Yeah, I haven't
yeah.
watched that yet, but it's on my list.
Yeah.
What do you mean
so-
sex education?
It's a show.
It's a show. Yeah.
Oh.
Wasn't Scully from X-Files on it?
Don't know. Haven't watched it.
Well,
Gillian Anderson. That's her name. Yeah.
let me ask you because I've been dabbling in some nerd movies
Oh,
and
yeah.
stuff lately.
Whoa, what do you mean?
Oh, I also got to correct you on the whole Spider-Man thing about the iPhone on his chest.
Oh, was it an iPhone?
It was an iPhone. What I'm saying is, at that point, he was already like disbanded. He was in trouble for killing Mysterio. Remember? And he was in trouble for all that. So he's all cut off from everything. So he knows Stark Tech. So he had to just do what he had. So that was the best reason why he had his iPhone on his chest.
Well, they didn't explain that.
Yeah, they did. He was in trouble. He got arrested by the cops. He had to have Daredevil like be his defendant, and he got in trouble. And then Stark Industries was in trouble. That's why Daredevil goes, "Yo, you need a better lawyer than even me because you're in trouble just as much."
Oh, that's when the lawyer. He's the blind guy.
Yeah.
the blind lawyer.
Yeah.
He catches the
Charlie
brick.
Cox, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
See, you didn't pay attention, so you make these comments. You don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but okay.
This
Hold on, I'll defend myself.
for
here
the
it goes.
movie that everybody said is
I
the
love it.
greatest
It's
Marvel movie
fantastic.
of
It
all
explained
time.
everything.
When Tom explained what they did, especially what they solved in the high school science center, I was like, that is some lazy garbage.
But he still has the technology laying around.
he has a fabricator that was in his apartment. That was the only thing he had, and he already had most of the stuff done before he went to the high school lab.
It's even stupid that Daredevil was your lawyer. Get a regular lawyer.
No, that's the perfect guy. It's a superhero that is a lawyer. You want that guy to be your defendant because he understands what you're going through.
Shuti Gatwa is the new Doctor Who.
And
Yeah.
a shooty gatwa to you.
I had to look up how to pronounce
Yeah,
it.
I was
great
like, I
name.
wasn't even gonna try because I was like, I don't
That's
know.
a great name.
Well, speaking of doctors, I want to talk about Doctor Strange.
Okay, I did see that twice over the weekend.
So I saw like Doctor Strange is in the new Spider-Man.
Yes.
And that's the first time I didn't even know who this was.
Why
or
is
whatever.
Spider-Man always hanging out with these old dudes? He's always hanging out with Tony Stark. He's always hanging out with Doctor Strange.
Well, he has there's mentors.
Why
That's
don't
the reason why.
You know what? I don't believe in the mentor concept. Why don't you get some friends your own age?
What are you, Ryan Tannehill?
What are
You're
you-
not going to help the guy
I
that
think-
you just drafted.
I think Spider-Man.
That's his job.
Yes, it is his job. If you're an old quarterback, that's your job.
No,
Ryan
I'm
Tannehill's
with Tannehill. He's like, that's not my job.
Not my job.
to train this guy. That's the team's
You
job.
do you, boo. I'll do me.
Yeah. I'm trying to win the starting quarterback
He's
position.
just
I'm
get
like,
mad that he's getting replaced. That's why.
well, I mean, he's honest. He's like, my
You
job is to
won
be
the
the best.
season, but then you lose after your first
Yeah,
round bye.
So
if I were walking into the training facility and there's a code on the door, I'd shut the door real fast. And if he's behind me, like, you should have held the door. Nope.
So is Doctor Strange a wizard?
He's a sorcerer, yes.
Okay, and where's he
Master-
from?
Wait,
He's
and
a master.
a doctor?
He's a master of mystic arts. Before he became the master of mystic arts at the time, he was a doctor
Mystic
and he was a surgeon, and he was
Yeah.
really good with his hands. And then he got in a car accident because he was texting and driving. And hold on, I know you guys would love that.
Well, that's the movie version.
That's the movie version, yeah.
Oh my God, that's so funny. Hold on.
He's like, I'm almost to.
Guess who else is
I'm almost-
losing their power in their hands over there, Mr. Burning Hands?
Yeah. Tom's gonna be a sorcerer.
Hold on, I'm Doctor Strange. I'm almost home with the Beefy King. Oh, I forgot the beefy spots. I'm turning. Oh, God.
And then he couldn't get his hands. His hands didn't work anymore, so they went and.
What
tried to
happened,
find a
Doctor
way.
Strange? I was going to get my wife some beefy spuds, and I wrecked my Jeep,
No,
crushing my hand.
He was doing like patient consultations while he was driving, basically.
And so,
Irresponsible.
so
Yeah, very
then
bad.
how did he become a
So
wizard?
why was
Well, he went to
rewarded?
Carmitage and he tried to learn from the ancient one how to.
Ramadage.
I live by that place. An awesome fountain.
That's over there by
And
the
the
old
ale house.
Bubbaloo. Right
So he
next
goes there
Lee
to try to
Road.
fix his hands, and instead of that, he learns magic.
So he just learned it.
So he gets there.
Yeah.
He's like, "Can you fix my hands?" And the guy's like, "No, but I can teach you magic." And he's like, "That'll do." This is stupid stuff.
And why can he? Only he can do it. Like he's the most powerful sorcerer
Well,
in the world.
He used some of his talents from being a surgeon. Like he has like a mimic memory, and like he remembers everything he reads. So
I'm a surgeon, so I'm
basically
magically an
studied all the
asshole all the
magic.
time.
So his memory makes him a
Makes him
good
a better
sorcerer.
sorcerer too, as well. Yeah.
I can remember all the spells.
Yeah.
Hold on, that's the only like advantage to a
And Benedict Cumberbatch hates when he does all the hand signals and stuff like that. He hates doing all that stuff. Yeah, where he's like opening the Eye of Agamotto and all that stuff.
The Eye of Agamotto.
The vaulting boots.
You
So
nerds, you guys actually read this and you're like,
The Crimson Bands of
and you
Ceterac.
wear the shirt and you're like, I'm cool. People like me. I have friends. I am Agamotto.
So
Wasn't he the coach of the Magic? Agamotto.
so
Back in the day.
Oh, I think so.
how's
I
Doctor
only
Strange?
I only remember Pat Hill.
Is that good? That movie?
Yeah, we saw it in 4D with my son,
Oh,
which was
God,
amazing.
4D.
I loved it. Okay, you remember how I told you that Morbius was a rough ride for me? There was 4 people in the seats this time. It was a full theater, Doctor Strange, and it wasn't as rough. And I think that was the thing. The more weight in there, it's not as shaky. But it was
Some fatter
a
chunks.
good time.
It holds the hydraulics back.
Yeah. No, it was me and there was 2 other guys and my 70-pound son.
We need more power. The nerds are too fat. And coming up next is a scene where they go to the they go to the amusement
They go to the
park.
Himalayas and there's like
Yeah.
snow coming down.
We don't have enough
and
snow to
wind.
cover all the fat asses.
Did they make it colder?
Yeah, and I told my son was like, I need a
That's
blanket.
cool.
It's cold in here. Yeah.
We're trying to shake these fat nerds around the machinery. You can't take it.
Well, that's why the tickets are like $28 a piece.
So what else a nerd?
Oh, well, you guys talked about Avatar already, so that kind of ruined it. I'm not excited about it. It's
I wouldn't
took
say
too
I'm
long.
excited, but I'll go see
I'll
it.
go see it, but I'm more likely. I'm like,
I think I will go to the theater to see it, but yeah, I'm not.
Yeah, just to.
I'm
Yeah.
not happy.
Well, the first one, it didn't really leave us like what's gonna happen next. It was
Yeah.
kind of like they tied a bow on it, and it was like, all right, here we
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
That's
It's
the end
that,
of
They
it's
kept
that
the tree,
guy
yeah.
who,
Worthington?
Giovanni, the bad guy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
He's in that new miniseries about the making of the Godfather movie. Giovanni
He was the bad guy in Ted, right?
Yeah,
Ribisi.
Yeah,
Ribisi.
Giovanni
And he's
Ribisi.
also Giovanni. He's got
La Beefy.
he's a little more Giovanni-ish, more to the stereotype now. So is he going to reprise his role as the?
Yeah, he's in the new one.
Yeah,
But
'Cause
is
they're
he-
still going after the unobtainium. Oh,
Are
God,
they
It's
gonna-
supposed to be like a
that.
decade later after the
Ah,
first
okay.
one,
Yeah.
which it technically is, I guess. I mean, it's 12
Yeah,
years
2009. Yeah,
All right.
is when it came out. Because I had to look that up there when they showed the trailer. I was like, how long ago was this when it came out? Because like, of course, COVID brain. I think it's like, does this come out in like 2003 when I got out of school? No.
Did
We're still waiting on District 10.
are they doing?
Oh yeah.
Do does anybody care about 3D anymore? Like, are they going to do it at 3D?
They'll probably do it in 4D. They'll make it so it's just like that. So
And they'll have like a knobby
You're gonna
tail
get
brush
straight
your
up
face.
soaked in that movie because it's underwater most of the time. So and they have little
No, thank you.
They have a button you can turn the water off. You better turn that off on Avatar because you're gonna get soaked if not.
Well, there's not that many 4D theaters. They have to do it.
There's 2 on International Drive.
There is?
Yeah.
Well, there's
my
2.
God, that's a hell
Okay, well, there's 2. Well, so what else? Like,
I think there's one at Universal as well. So there's 3 kind of off of International Drive.
yeah,
in
well,
that
That's
area.
not going to save movies.
Yeah. Well,
It's not.
Doctor Strange made a ton of money this weekend.
Oh, I'm sure it
Yeah.
will. I mean, like, I'm sure that people that love movies will go out and see it.
I
but-
think it'll be an event. Like like we always say, it's an event thing. Like only certain movies I'm going to go to the theaters for. Instead, everything else I'm going to get streaming.
well, that's, and like, people will email me and be like, look at this. The event, the new Doctor Strange made more money and broke records or whatever. So movies aren't dead, Tom. And like they'll say, but I'm
Yeah.
like, the only movies I think they can do this are the grandiose superhero movies. Like no one's going to see Ted 4
No.
at the, the theater. No one cares. Like they'll watch it at home. But
Like Bullet Train that's coming out for Brad Pitt. I will wait till that's on
Teens will
HBO
go,
Max.
though.
Yeah.
Because it gets them out of the house.
I'm
Teens,
really
they don't want to get out of the house.
yeah,
want
they do. When's the last
Nah.
time you've been to a movie theater on
It's
like a
mostly
weekend or at
teens.
night?
Like
It's
go to the
mostly
Loop
teens.
near Osceola
Yeah,
Parkway.
they just hang out.
Oh man.
It's a way to hang out with your friends.
I'm pretty happy I've never seen a Ted movie.
Ted 1 or 2.
I think that makes me better than you 3.
I'll agree with that.
I've never seen
Tom
one
Brady's in
saw
a Ted
one.
movie. He's the GOAT.
in the Ted movies.
Yeah, he's in Ted 2.
Why'd he do it? Why'd you do it, Tom?
and
You're
I
a nerd.
even, and
He's the
I
Boston
even
guy.
liked you.
Yeah.
I even liked you. Teddy bear
I'm
with a
going
bong.
to see the Bob's Burgers movie in theaters.
Bob's Burgers rules.
But do you
I like the
want?
voice of Archer.
What's the experience? Well, how is it better than
I don't
watching
know,
it
just
at
to
your
be
house?
kind of cool to see Bob's Burgers
Because it makes
on a
me
big
focus
screen.
at the theater. Like I can't be on my phone. I'm not dealing with the kids. I'm not on the iPad. I can focus on the movie. Any other time, I'm distracted.
Well, that's your own fault.
No, but that's most people though. Most people are going to try to
You're
look
like
at their
my
phone and
wife.
stuff
We're
like
like,
that.
get these chips away from me. I'm like, you have
Yeah, no self
No self-control.
no
I do
power.
that.
Yeah. Like, just take the chips and put them somewhere
Well,
else.
I do it differently. I go, take these chips away from me to my wife, but then I go, one more bag.
Yeah, one more handful.
Yeah, I get one more handful, and I lay them on a tiny napkin.
What else we got?
Okay, the
for
last
nerd?
thing I got is Miss Marvel is the next Disney Plus series that's after Moon Knight. Did you guys
The
watch
Marvelous Miss Marvel?
Miss Marvel? That's Miss Mavel is the other one.
Oh,
you're
maybe
thinking
they
of.
should have rethought that name. 'cause
No,
it's
but
stupid.
it was first. Miss Marvel was first. so.
Yeah, but there's already a Marvelous Miss Maisel out there. So
And remember how they were? Kevin Feige has to explain why she has different powers. Like in the comic book, she's an Inhuman, and she has like the stretchy powers, like Mr. Fantastic, and she could change her size and shape.
Okay.
And she's like a shapeshifter and stuff like that. And this one, she seems like she has like the quantum bands or the nega bands, and she has like energy projection, like the Captain Marvel and.
So why
Photon.
does he-
Well, the reason why is because he has to explain that the Inhumans suck, and I can't spoil the new Doctor Strange movies without giving into detail.
Okay.
So I'm going to be good and not do spoilers.
I
'cause
appreciate
know
that.
It's only been Thursday was when it came out. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
been
yeah.
6 days total.
I actually want to
So-
see it now that I've been introduced to the character Doctor Strange through Spider-Man. I know I'm watching it out of order. So
It's fine. Have you ever seen a Sam Raimi movie?
don't
Like
know
the
what that is.
Spider-Man, he
Bukaki
did
movie?
Evil Dead, he did Darkman. You guys remember Darkman? That was a Sam Raimi movie.
Oh, I know Darkman.
Yeah. yeah, where it's Liam Neeson breaks the guy's hand.
Oh.
Yeah, and then screams about take the effing elephant. Yeah.
that's not the Dark Man Tom and I want.
So
No, but if you've seen a Sam Raimi movie, that you're going to get the same beats in Doctor Strange without having to do spoilers. I could basically say that.
all right.
The Dark Man we watched, the girl and her husband vacation in Monaco. She goes to the beach because he has to work, and the guy is renting her a jet ski.
I know that one.
Yeah, it's good. She's a redhead.
So it does bother me a little bit, and I'll complain about
Okay,
Spider-Man
let's hear
a little
this
bit.
now.
Is that Doctor Strange seemingly has like ultimate power, right?
Yeah.
But then somehow lets Spider-Man like steal his box and do things like, or, like
Oh, he stole
how
my
does-
Magic Strange box.
Like,
Thanks.
how do you let that happen? You're all powerful. You have like a ridiculous amount of of power that you could destroy the world.
You're
it
a
seems
wizard.
Like. and you let
Yeah,
Spider-Man
but he
steal your box
realizes
with a web.
He's fighting a kid, so he's not going
Well,
hard.
I go back to my original point. Maybe you shouldn't be hanging out with children, Doctor
And
Strange.
the fact that
Can you just-
Spider-Man is smarter than Doctor Strange in the Marvel universe, so he's actually
Spider-Man
smarter.
is smarter.
So
Yeah.
I know something about
And a
fighting.
sorcerer?
Yes.
/ surgeon?
How does that
Surgeon,
work?
yeah.
So okay,
He's a photographer teenager. He's an idiot.
Yeah, he's just making jokes.
And he's also a dumpster diver. That explains why he had to do the whole iPhone on his chest thing.
None of this makes sense, nerds.
I have no idea
listen,
what's going
I know
on.
a lot about fighting children.
It's in Civil
Daniel
War.
saw me fight a bunch of kids in
did.
the pool. All right,
You're the
Okay.
Doctor Strange of pool parties.
Oh my god.
He is. And then he has to take breaks.
Oh no! And then you
does
have
the hand
10
signals.
minutes left.
I do the portal thing with my wiener.
Oh my
Stop.
god! Not when you're talking about kids. Come on! Sam has enough work to do.
He had his robe on.
Oh.
So anyway, when I'm fighting kids in the pool, they're easily like beaten. I was taking a soccer ball and I was hitting all their
took
heads.
the soccer ball and he put it on Maisie's head and he just pushed her to the bottom of the pool. And I laughed and I laughed.
Yeah.
Oh my, she deserved every second of
I
it.
could easily juke past them and push them, or like
Right, yeah,
I
yeah.
fight
He just
10
did
of them
this,
at
look.
the same time.
He put it right on
Okay.
her head and
Yeah,
just goes,
Yeah.
You did this to kids that are elementary school. Spider-Man is supposed to be in high school.
Yeah, but the Doctor Strange.
I don't think you can
to
handle a high school
Spider-Man.
kid.
But I think the strength-wise, Doctor Strange is way more powerful than Spider-Man. Like I'm
just
way
based
more
on
powerful
his,
than Maisie.
what'd you say? Quantum bands, NATO
His
bands,
His
whatever.
physicality, I mean.
But yeah, Spider-Man's actually stronger than Doctor Strange.
But not with Doctor Strange's magic, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, but he also has the ability to see things happening before they happen. So he has that sixth sense, the spider sense.
So does Strange,
So
right?
no,
Can
he doesn't. Doctor
Well,
Strange.
can he just do like
They do
I'm
reverse
gonna?
because he doesn't
time?
have the time. He doesn't have the time stone anymore.
But can he
Oh,
just
God.
go? Here's I'm gonna wrap it
time
up with a wizard lasso.
I'm explaining. I'm answering every single one of your questions.
No, but it doesn't make any sense that
Yeah,
a
it does. It
Spider
makes
Boy
sense. It
can't
makes
beat a
total
Wizard
sense.
Man. No, in real life, if there was a real Spider Boy and a real Wizard Man wins all day long.
Well, it depends on which movie you're in.
No, I'm
you're
talking
in the
about if they
Spider-Man
were
movie
real.
versus the
No.
Doctor Strange movie, and that's one
you
of the
nerds try to you guys try to find little things to have it all. You can't have it all.
It's all about the writers.
No.
Whoever's writing it, you
Gotta
can make
catch 'em all.
anybody win. Yeah,
but
Still
that's
play
not.
Pokemon.
They need to make it more realistic. Wizard Man.
Superheroes. It's not realistic at all.
No, but
Well,
these
let's
nerds, they explain everything away. When I'm like, well, that's not possible. They're like, well, it is because he had the quantum energy key all along. And I'm like, all along.
Let's go back to the NFL.
Okay, let's go
Okay.
back to the NFL.
So I got a question for you, EJ.
What's your bet
because,
on for the Super Bowl this year?
It's hard. Like I like the long shot of like a team like the Chargers, just because I feel like they have a solid team and a really good quarterback, and I like the odds. Like I'm not gonna all the favorites.
It's worth the money to at least.
There's
put
no
a little money
value.
on it,
Yeah, there's no value in all the favorites. Anyway, so I got a question for you because you're familiar. Like you played in UM. You saw like NFL players before they're in the NFL. Play,
I played
right?
probably with maybe 5 Hall of Famers.
Yeah. You saw like Frank Gore. Can't read.
You still love that joke. I need.
He made all. He's fine.
He looks so good in his photo.
he still looks good.
He looks
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't look like me. He's 4 years younger than me, but still looks good.
From when he graduated UM to
Oh, he
now,
doesn't look that much different. No.
it's
Different haircut. That's it.
So I want to talk to you about like the difference in skill level between the highest ranked players, because like you see these trades and you see like the overall the consensus in the media and like the public is they see someone like a Tyreek Hill go to Miami and they're like, oh no, like the Chiefs, they Tyreek Hill's the best, like he's gonna, and then like Miami's gonna be like so much better with Tyreek Hill, and then like Devontae Adams like goes to the Raiders,
yeah.
and then everybody's like, oh no, now
The Packers are not as good as
yeah,
they
but-
were.
yeah.
with Devontae Adams. Yeah,
because Rodgers doesn't have his number one target, and now it's going to be, but I start thinking about it.
It didn't worry me at all. I'm just like
I bet you the difference between the wide receivers at that level is minute. I know like Tyreek Hill has certain speed skills that other wide receivers seemingly don't have. We've seen it with our own eyes, but like how much more like how much faster is he? Like a step, like barely, like
fractions of seconds.
That's
for sure.
Like I feel.
Tens of seconds.
What
is the
about like
difference
locker
between-
room vibe and just all around?
That's like a different
Team
psychology.
chemistry is totally
But
a
I'm
different thing.
on
Yeah.
But
the
I'm just
field,
wondering if that matters when
Oh,
you're
it does matter,
when you're
for
suiting
sure.
him in.
Like,
When you're slotting him into there.
Is
I mean,
someone as good as Rodgers, it's like sitting back behind the scenes saying like, I could throw to any of these receivers is fine. Like,
yeah, they run the routes that they're
like-
supposed to, and they make the reads that they're supposed to. You can probably plug and play most wide receivers in the NFL. Yes.
Okay, so it's not as big of a deal as the public makes it out to be. Well, like, I know obviously losing a star wide receiver is a big deal, but the difference between him and the next best receiver on the team is minute. That makes me feel
yes.
that way.
Well, it comes down to, okay, are you a possession receiver? Are you a guy that's going to be that deep
Yeah,
threat?
like what
are
type
you gonna,
of receiver
Are you going to
are you?
always make the right read and not mess up? Because that's a huge difference. Like if you're supposed, like let's say the weak side linebacker and the free safety both blitz. Your wide receiver is going to have to cut off his route or do something because there's not enough guys to block those guys. If he misses that read, it's either a sack, fumble, or an interception if he tries to throw it. So that's a big deal if you're screwing up. It's mentally. A lot of those guys, physically, they're all the same. Mentally is the big difference in those guys.
And we've seen that
Yeah.
before. And like, especially like, and the only reason I say that is because like you see Belichick work with unknown receivers or like,
yeah.
like unknown or like small name receivers and stuff and like win Super Bowls with them. And so
he did that with an
Yeah.
unknown quarterback.
and
With
then,
those guys that don't mess up, that's what he wants on his team, and that's what he does.
now we're seeing
And it
like,
becomes just a factory for him usually.
having Tom Brady makes a difference. Obviously,
yeah.
we've seen the proof now that like if you have an exceptional quarterback, like he can make the receivers better.
Yeah.
So a guy like Rodgers, I don't know how much that matters to him that he loses a star receiver, like because
I
in the
always
public's
figure
eye,
they have a plan, right? Like whenever
Yeah,
those
yeah,
moves
like,
are made,
yeah.
I never go, even with my own team. Like when we lost like Julio Jones on the Falcons, it wasn't like, of course I didn't like it, but it wasn't like I was like, well, they never saw that coming. Because I don't think it works like that.
No, they're making moves for 10 years down the road. Anyways,
they knew, and even I'm sure Rodgers knows. He's plugged into that.
Yeah.
There's nobody more plugged in than him.
or like he
right?
must have been mad when he came back and they traded. Like he knew.
Yeah,
He was mad about some stuff because not being able to, like, you kept on picking quarterback instead of receiver in the next draft.
Yeah.
That was a bad move, which I kind of agree with Rodgers on those scenarios.
Well, he said
Yeah.
it, right? I mean, he's been open about it.
And then and also like with the teams and how much hype like the public has on a particular team, like Tampa Bay, and like they're like, oh, Brady's back when he's got the whole team together.
Yeah.
Gronk is never coming back, right?
See, I don't know. It's one of those scenarios where if they make it a sweet enough deal and he can actually get down the field.
Because it seems like he's trolling the media. He's like, I'll come back if you sign Julian Edelman. Like he's saying stuff like that. I mean, he's not coming
he's
back.
doing the Elon Musk. I'm gonna buy Coke and put cocaine back in it. Yeah.
It seems like he is now like messing around and just to get his name out there, but he's not coming back to play.
No, more
NFL
likely
football.
he's not. No, he's putting his name so he can sell his Gronk cruises and his Gronk drinks or whatever he got.
Gronk drink. Hold on a second.
Gronk juice.
I love a good energy drink. Is that what it is?
I don't know. I was just making that up. I
Sam,
have
you'll
no
drink
clue.
a Gronk with me.
Yeah,
Ice cold
I'll drink
Gronk?
a
Is it the same as Dilk? Is
He
it
does
what
have
we're
a
do-
Monster. You know that, right? A Monster energy drink.
No.
Yeah.
I'll drink
Well,
it.
that's
I-
when he was with the Patriots. I don't know.
I totally made that up.
I will drink a Gronk monster.
So let's end with the draft too, because
I don't hate giraffes.
See, I didn't watch any of it. It's one of those things. I
was
kind
a-
of agree with Bill Burr. Like, I'd rather wait till the end and see what happens.
a lot of good gambling in the NFL draft. Like
you said that.
I
Is
won.
there?
Yeah. I won every one of my bets. I've never done that before.
But how do they do that? Like, people know who they're going to pick, though.
They put up odds. They're like, hey, will Olave go under a 17.5?
So
like,
they set limits to make sure that, like, okay, if I'm an NFL insider, I can't bet like millions of dollars.
Well, that's the
Yeah.
thing too. They limit it all, so like the small limits and stuff. They
Okay.
don't even care.
So Adam Schefter can't go. I'm betting all this on all these picks.
Not worth it for him.
Okay.
But the average Joe that's betting $50 or whatever, like you can make money anyway. But what I find interesting about the draft is the more like I listen, like hardcore gamblers and stuff, and people that know the NFL more than I do, they talk about how it has no correlation to the success of the team. It's all random, right?
Yeah.
Because
it's a lottery ticket.
That's
why they call it a lottery.
It's all pomp and circumstance when they give these draft grades and stuff. Like, this the New York Jets had a A+ draft, and then Patriots have a D- or whatever. And then people what makes me laugh is you see these people criticize Bill Belichick and he had a horrible draft.
Screwed it all up.
And I'm like, do you think Bill Belichick knows more about football than any human in the world?
Yeah, you guys don't know the inside operations of the place and what they're dealing with. And, okay, we know this. We're going to lose this guy because he blew out his knee, but we haven't announced it to the media yet.
Whatever Bill Belichick does is the best thing.
Oh, I don't know about that.
And the best decision because it's Bill G.D. Belichick.
I understand what you're saying.
For some guy on ESPN to criticize Bill Belichick seems ridiculous to me.
Well,
what do you know?
Become mostly opinion polls anyway, so it doesn't really matter what they say. They're trying to get ratings. It's when you got Stephen A. Smith and you got
it doesn't matter.
Old white guys.
I mean, one of the only things I ever had to look at was back when we would do Soccer Cast. We would have to go and look at the MLS power rankings, and the minute I realized that they put the power rankings as a click-through, is all I needed to know because I was like, "This is fake.
Yeah,
this is all fake. They just want me to go through it to give them clicks. These don't matter at all." So then I just stopped looking at it. I'm like, "It doesn't matter."
Yeah.
It's all meaningless opinions, but it still does make me mad that
you're falling into the trap. Then
no, it makes me mad that the actual teams can't see the talent as much as it's played out. For instance, Brady getting picked so late in the draft, and Mahomes getting picked after Mitch Trubisky and Deshaun Watson. Mitch Trubisky got picked before Deshaun Watson.
Oh yeah,
and Patrick Mahomes.
But some of that is misinformation on purpose. They're trying to make people pick picks before they're supposed to. And that's why that one quarterback, I think it was Liberty, it was the school he went to, he was supposed to go first as a quarterback, and he went down to the third round, I thought. Yeah. So some of that time, it's misinformation on purpose to make people pick picks they're not supposed to pick.
I know, but don't they know better?
No.
It's all you do.
But the thing is, you get a lot of tumbled men that are there that I go with my gut and not with the analytics. That's the thing sometimes.
Are they still doing that? Are they still dumb? I can't imagine that.
They still screw up.
Yeah, they screw up all the time or get lied to and make decisions.
Or the worst one is you're right. The pick is right for you. The pick comes in, and the guy just, for whatever reason, it just doesn't work out.
No, I know.
Maybe his head is wrong. Maybe just anxiety.
Or he's used to being the number one guy on his team, and then he goes to the NFL, and he's the last place guy on his team because now he's a rookie.
That ideology just doesn't work out.
So, EJ, are you still doing your Nerd Jocks?
Yes, I'm doing Nerd Jock Live on
Nerd Jock Live with Noah
on Twitch. I really enjoy doing that. I got to do it when my kids go in the bathtub, so it's a little bit quiet in the house.
Oh, my God. You and Tom with all these kids in the pool and the bathtub.
Do you enjoy it more doing
I like the interaction with you guys, for sure.
Why don't you do it live from the bathtub? Like you in the bath.
No.
Bubble bath.
Well, then I'll drop my iPad in the bathtub, and I don't need that.
You're an adult.
Which I do need to learn how to do the whole interaction thing. You're
an adult. My wife's like, you can't hold your phone in the tub if I'm soaking my back. I'm like, I'm an adult. I can hold it, not drop it in the water.
No, but all I'm running it is on my iPad right now, and so I need to get a laptop and stuff like that so I can do the interaction. I need to actually talk to
Moneybags over here. He'll get you one.
EJ,
will you buy me a laptop, Tom?
Anything else to plug?
MegaCon is going to be this week in a couple of weeks, right? MyCon is. I don't know what they're going to do right now. My wife and her partner are having discussions on when that's going to be next.
Oh, there's a riff.
Oh, yeah.
I
always thought we would have a riff. We never did.
Yeah. Well, I'd
be like, I'm doing my own. And it's called Con-My.
But behind the scenes, you own way less than you believe.
I know. Sam told me.
Oh, no.
I filled out the paperwork.
Yeah. Dan, you're not looking over the paperwork before you sign it? Oh, that's not good.
He swindled me. I only own 15%. Oh, literally nothing.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
15% of Turd Mountain.
The autobiography. All right, AJ.
All right. Love you guys. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.